Chapter 4197. How many managers nowadays would ask their artistes to stop for half a year to arrange classes for them to improve themselves? They probably wanted their artistes to take on more advertisements and endorsements so that they could rise up quickly. This wasn't wrong. It was human nature. He just felt that if they had known each other earlier, their development might have been different. He still felt a little regretful that he couldn't work with her. Thinking about how she was a few years younger than him, how he laughed. Even if they had known each other earlier, she was probably still a high school student. They wouldn't have been able to work together. Our company can't help you solve your problem, but I can. Tang was smiled and said something unbelievable. The company's strength doesn't represent my personal strength. Today, we're here to talk about this. I won't consider anything else. If you're willing to work with me and you're satisfied with the contract, we'll sign it. I'll bear all the consequences. Tang had guessed that Haoye's 7 years of difficulties were mostly caused by someone. She didn't believe that a big company would be so free as to spend 7 years of their time and energy to deal with an artiste who was already dead. Someone else was probably the reason why Haoye couldn't make a comeback. She wanted to drag little Tongzi out and beat him up, but he was still keeping her in suspense. System, hide. Tang's words were arrogant. Haoye could hear her confidence. Morningstar Entertainment's strength didn't represent her personal strength. Didn't this mean that her personal strength was stronger than the company? Miss Tang, you're not joking? No. Are you willing to sign a contract? Haoye was tempted. This was a very good company, and they even had a very good manager. There was even a voice in his heart telling him to sign it. He believed that she could do it. Tang will push the contract to Haoye. 2 years trial. Haoye was even more surprised. There were many artistes who went solo after their contracts expired. The lowest contract now was at least 5 years. He had never heard of a 2-year contract. Haoye picked up the contract and read it seriously. After reading it, he was even more shocked. What kind of contract was this? He wanted to find loopholes in it, such as the word games that were used to trick him. No, this contract was open and above board. He felt that there was no contract in the industry that was more conscientious than this. This guy is really careful. Is he still afraid that the host will trick him? Even if he did, it would be for the rest of his life. In his dreams. I've been scammed before. Now that I look at it seriously, isn't that normal? Haoye had been tricked by his uncle. Even his relatives had tricked him. We've only just met, and we're still in a cooperative relationship. Read the contract carefully. This is being responsible for yourself. System, that's very reasonable. He just felt that the host was siding with Haoye. Host, do you know what he does for extra income? Aren't you going to be a host once in a while? Little Tongzi, did you not give me all the information again? To maintain a sense of mystery, I just want the host to be greatly surprised. Actually, this fellow has another job. Because of the scam on the contract, he went to study law. Now, he's even helping people look at contracts. Tangwa. Tongzi, are you asking for a beating? Dear host, that's all. That's all I've hidden from you. I've told you everything else. I just wanted to see you surprised. I didn't expect your reaction to be so calm. You've had too many good days. Oh, right. Isn't 111 going to send you an installation package? Vertex. Chapter 4198. 111 has just entered the next world. Wait for it to stabilize. It should be soon. The system was also looking forward to what kind of installation package 111 would give him. Could it be a standalone installation package? That would be fine too. He was already a little tired of the small games in the system that he had devoured previously. When he had nothing to do, he would go to the online world and get a game installation package to play. Haoye snapped out of his daze and asked Tangwa again, Miss Tang, are you really willing to sign me? Of course. Will you sign it? Haoye gripped the pen tightly. Since Miss Tang isn't afraid, why should I be? With that said, Haoye signed his name. What other time could be worse than the situation he was in now? If he really couldn't do it, he could just go back to where he started. Haoye, you are my artist now. When can you start? Haoye, I still have some things to do here. I can finish them all in a week. He still had some contracts to settle. Also, he had to finish his job as a host. Since he had accepted it, he had to finish it. Tang will put the contract away and didn't leave. You don't have anything to do today, right? After receiving Haoye's reply, Tang said, When you came in just now, I saw that you were a little nervous. Are you in trouble? Since you are my artist, you have to tell me if you're in trouble. That way, I can help you settle it as soon as possible. Yes, there's a rather crazy fan who has been following my whereabouts all this time. It has been better in recent years. A while ago, that fan was even crazier. I called the police a few times before the fan finally calmed down. Then I will arrange for a bodyguard to come over tomorrow. Tangwa looked at the tidy house. Your house is too small. There are only 3 bodyguards and an assistant driver. It probably won't be enough. Why don't you come back with me today? I will arrange your accommodation. If you have any work to do, I will ask the driver to send you there. How you didn't know why, but he packed a simple luggage and really got into the car with Tangwa. Now, he was sitting in the back with Tangwa. He couldn't help but look at this low-key, luxurious car that was definitely worth millions. Managers these days had such a high starting point. Tangwa wasn't a famous manager, but she still had a driver and a luxurious car to send her around. Could this be the personal strength she was talking about? Let's talk about how after you were frozen by your previous company, your work was repeatedly sabotaged. I think your previous company probably only issued a notice to ban you, but they won't care about you if you take on some small jobs, and they won't really deliberately target you. A worthless artist was not necessary for the company, so why would they waste their resources? Banning how ye had already served as a warning to others. Sister Tang was guess is right. It's not the former company that wants to wipe us out. They don't have so much free time. Tangwa was younger than him and was now his agent. There was no harm in calling her sister. Tangwa was quite happy. She patted Hao Yi on the shoulder and said, "Since you call me sister, I'll take care of you in the future." Hao Yi felt that his manager was a little strange, but he didn't dislike it. Perhaps he was thinking too much? System. I didn't think too much into it. It's just what you guessed. Do you have any guesses? I have some guesses. Back when I entered this circle, I did block the path of many people. But now that I'm dead, no one will be so free as to specially spend resources to deal with me. But there is one person who might be so free. The Peak. Chapter 4199. Tangwa asked, "Who is it?" The system did not look into the details, so she did not know. Chi Dong. How you said name? Tangwa was a little surprised. Chi Dong, a popular A-list actor. He's the king of TV ratings. Every time there's a big male lead script, it'll be sent to him immediately. He's won many awards, but it seems like he's not fated to be a best actor. A few years ago, he wanted to enter the film industry and participated in many big productions, but the results were not good. He was almost criticized by fans for making bad movies and squandering his money. In the end, he gave up trying to enter the film industry to stabilize his position. It's him. From what I know, Chi Dong debuted in the same show as you. There doesn't seem to be any hatred between the two of you, but back then, you seemed to want to suppress him. Could it be because of this hatred? It shouldn't be. In this industry, there were many people who could suppress him back then. It's impossible for him to hold a grudge against everyone. Otherwise, he would be too petty. Who was better than him? When he succeeded, he would take revenge on the other person. Chi Dong would not be able to survive in this industry. It's not that simple. I don't have a grudge against him. It might be because of one thing. Speaking up to this point, Hao Yi paused for a moment. I accidentally saw his private matters. Maybe he felt embarrassed, or maybe there were other reasons, so he held a grudge against me. Do you know Sister Yang? Tangwa asked. Tongzi, who is Sister Yang? System. Dear host, Sister Yang is a self-made rich woman. She started as a housewife in the countryside. Because of a family dispute, she left her family with nothing. Fortunately, her family pitied her and gave her a bungalow and 3 lambs, hoping that she could raise them to make a living. Sister Yang felt that she could only graze the lambs on the hillside for the rest of her life. She might walk into the grave of another marriage in the future. After more than a year of asking around and learning, she sold the 3 lambs and started to raise pigs. The unparalleled Tang set forth after entering the pig industry. With her diligence, sincerity, and some luck, she slowly became a big pig farmer. Later, she opened the famous 3-sheep pig farm. The name 3 Sheep came from the 3 little lambs. Before setting up the company, 3 Sheep was also her nickname. When it came to raising pigs, many people would say that she was from a village called Three Sheep. The pigs raised by her family were not bad. She was sturdy, not watery, and had a conscience. Boss Three Sheep was also a straightforward person. Doing business with her would not be wrong. The Three Sheep Pig Farm has countless varieties of pigs and can satisfy all kinds of people's tastes. The pork that great host ate yesterday came from the Three Sheep Pig Farm. After she became successful and famous, Sister Yang rejected many suitors and fell in love with young hunks. These young hunks were her mistresses one after another. Back then, the first person she took a fancy to was your cutie, Hao Yi. Your cutie wants to keep her chastity for you. How can she submit? Fortunately, Sister Yang doesn't force people. After probing a few times, Hao Yi didn't have the intention, so she gave up. She did have feelings for Hao Yi and regretted it for a long time. Tang Wen narrowed her eyes. Is this Sister Yang behind Qi Dong? Yes. So, Qi Dong instigated Sister Yang to deal with Hao Yi? No. Sister Yang has long forgotten about that. There's no need for her to sign a contract with a small artist. She's busy with her pig business every day. Where'd she find the time? She doesn't know that Qi Dong dealt with Hao Yi. It's just that Qi Dong used her power to make himself successful and gained many connections in the industry. Everyone would give him some face for Sister Yang's sake. Now that Qi Dong is even more powerful, it's easy for him to take revenge on a small artist. I see. I thought that in order to promote Hao Yi, I would have to deal with Three Sheep Pig Farm first. Fortunately, that's not the case. The pork from Three Sheep Pig Farm is really good. It tastes pretty good. System, what do you mean by that? Sister Yang is a straightforward person and likes to make friends. Although she's a pig farmer, no one looks down on her. I heard that she even set up a legal team to help housewives fight lawsuits. Actually, she's not a bad person. She has her principles when it comes to keeping young hunks. If the young hunks want to find a partner, she will end the relationship. Peak. Chapter 4200. That means he's a reasonable person. We're not on the same page. If Qi Dong wants to block Hao Ye's path, he has to ask me first. Tang would guess that Sister Yang probably didn't know about the things Qi Dong did in the industry. The boss of a large pig farm spent most of his time on property management, so he didn't have time to care about these small things. Tang's conversation with the system actually happened in a flash. She came back to her senses and continued Hao Ye's words. Is it Sister Yang from Three Sheep Pig Farm? Hao Yi said, it's her. Qi Dong and Sister Yang are related? Hao Yi nodded. When I first debuted, Sister Yang's people came to me. Sister Yang likes you. Tang couldn't help but laugh. This made Hao Yi a little uncomfortable. He quickly said, I didn't agree. Sister Yang's people came a few times, but they didn't bother me when they saw that I wasn't interested. Hao Yi had heard of Sister Yang's reputation before, so he didn't have a bad impression of her, but they weren't on the same side. Sister Yang is behind Qi Dong, right? This matter had been going on for a long time. Although it wasn't necessarily a secret in the industry, there were still many people who didn't know, especially when Qi Dong deliberately avoided it. No one would take the initiative to talk about it. Speaking of which, Qi Dong had debuted for almost 10 years. He didn't care about relationships for the time being, so he had a lot of fans. 56 with Sister Yang behind him. No one dared to spread any bad rumors. Indeed. Then how did you two become enemies? You're no longer a threat to him, but he still won't let you go? Hao Yi said, it started when Sister Yang's people came to look for me. At that time, Qi Dong and I were in the same room. Qi Dong knew that Sister Yang's people came to look for me. He even persuaded me to rely on my own ability to survive in the industry. If I really agreed, it would be a black mark in my history. In other words, he was very against it. Tang Wu understood. Then he turned around and hooked up with Sister Yang? Yes. I later found out that he was very close to Sister Yang's people. Every time that person came, Qi Dong seemed to be trying his best to show off. After that, Qi Dong rarely came back. He basically lived outside. Once, I accidentally saw him with Sister Yang, and he didn't look too good at that time. Tang was smiled carelessly. Isn't it just one act in front of others and another act behind their backs? Don't worry, this is easy to solve. According to Sister Yang's personality, she wouldn't bother to target you. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to do these things outside the industry. What do you think? I've guessed that Chi Dong is probably trying to take advantage of the situation. Sister Yang is such a busy person. Why would she specifically target a small fry like me? Hao Yi understood that if Sister Yang had targeted him, he wouldn't have become famous in the future. If she had simply used some resources, he wouldn't have had the chance to become famous. Most likely, she had long forgotten about him. Since Chi Dong is the only one targeting you, things will be much easier. You just need to improve your professional skills when you come back. You don't have to think about anything else. Hao Yi was still a little worried. Chi Dong is Sister Yang's man after all. If he spreads some pillow talk, it might bring a lot of trouble to the company. The biggest problem is probably the competition for resources. However, even if you don't have the ability, don't take on the porcelain job. Don't worry, what's yours won't run away. Chi Dong doesn't have the power to do anything in this industry. He can touch some of the smaller ones, but he can't touch the bigger ones. The Peak. Chapter 42:01. You have the capital, and the people in the industry understand your value. They're not stupid. They won't give up on a popular person like you just because of Chi Dong. How he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He was a has-been artist, but he was a popular person in this manager's eyes. This kind of affirmation that he hadn't received for a long time warmed his heart. Perhaps the choice this time wouldn't be bad. Tang would chatted with Hao Yi all the way back. She also knew the other reason why Hao Yi was so against the company's arrangement. He would rather die than follow the company's instructions. When Hao Yi was in junior high, his parents passed away and his uncle became his guardian. If one were to say that he was indebted to this uncle for bringing him up, that was simply not the case. His uncle was originally from an ordinary family. Later on, he took over Hao Yi's parents' assets. However, he told Hao Yi to work hard and not just sit around and do nothing. Hao Yi had always wanted to act and stand on the stage to express himself. Due to his amazing talent, his uncle was tempted. When he was in high school, his uncle became his manager and helped him take on some big and small jobs. After Hao Yi entered the film academy, he participated in a talent show. The results were good. When companies approached him, his uncle agreed that he owed a company. Because he was focused on doing what he liked, he didn't pay attention to these things. He had no experience and was cheated by the contract. What disgusted him the most was that his uncle wanted to send him to Sister Yang when he found out that she was interested in him. Hao Yi came to his senses and rejected him decisively. He didn't want to go down this path, so even if he died, he couldn't go against his principles. No matter how his uncle forced him, he didn't fall for it. He even sued his uncle later on. Unfortunately, his parents' assets and the money he used to earn were mostly squandered. His uncle was a deadbeat and couldn't take it out at all. Search for e-books. Hao Yi wasn't disappointed that he couldn't get the money. He just wanted to cut ties. Until now, he hadn't heard any news about his uncle for many years. His uncle died because of him, so he didn't have any interest in him. After my parents left, I treated my uncle as my only family. Although he had some shortcomings, I also felt that everyone had shortcomings. Since he was my family, I didn't think too much about it and didn't take any precautions. When Hao Yi said this, he was very calm. It could be seen that he really didn't care much about money. In fact, he was still able to earn money over the years. Just by looking at contracts for people, he was able to earn quite a bit. However, he still lived in the old neighborhood and kept the house neat and tidy. He lived this kind of ordinary life. There was nothing luxurious at home, just because he liked this kind of lifestyle. This is just an experience in life. You're so outstanding, you'll definitely achieve results in the field you like. Tang's words were very effective on Hao Yi. He also felt that he was very outstanding, but he just lacked a stage. It's been so many years. You haven't forgotten your kung fu, have you? Tang asked. Hao Yi smiled. How could I forget? I've been thinking about it every day, just waiting for the contract to expire. It was rare to see someone like Hao Yi who was so tenacious that he never thought of giving up. When they arrived at the villa, Hao Yi felt that the scenery outside was a bit different on the way. How did we drive to the most expensive villa area in the city? When he remembered that this car was not cheap, he calmed down again. He didn't know where this manager came from. Maybe she was a rich young lady who liked to do this? To experience life? The Peak. Chapter 4202. Sure enough, after getting out of the car and following Tangwa into the villa, he felt that his guess was right. Sister Tang's house is really big. How Yi praised seriously. He didn't know if it was because of the 7 years of training, but even when he saw such a luxurious place, he didn't show the slightest bit of uneasiness. Instead, his expression was natural, and he looked around openly. Tangwa felt that Hao Yi's 7 years of experience should be a kind of training for him. She even found Hao Yi in the original plot, but because he was a passerby, there weren't many mentions. But because he was too famous, there were still some mentions. But the mentions were made a long time later. 7 years of hibernation in exchange for soaring into the sky. So, people like him would sooner or later reach the top. It was just a matter of time. You can live here in the future. Is there a problem? Hao Yi shook his head. Of course, there's no problem. I saw that your room is clean and simple. I was afraid that you wouldn't be used to it. As for the room, you can ask the housekeeper to decorate it to your liking. Hao Yi, any style is fine, as long as it's clean. His small house was very comfortable, but it didn't mean that living in a big house wasn't comfortable. System, stay longer. You'll be staying here for the rest of your life. Even if you're not used to it now, you'll get used to it in the future. After choosing a room, the two of them ate together. Tangwa showed Hao Yi around the villa. When Hao Yi saw the strange things, he felt a little strange. This is where Xiao Yu trains. Tangwa pointed at the bricks in front of Hao Yi. There were also some strange things that Hao Yi had never seen before. But there were some skills that Hao Yi saw Yu Jiwei use when he was watching the camera. So what Yu Jiwei said was true. What he learned was arranged by Sister Tang. But he didn't expect that the place where he learned was actually in Tangwa's villa. It was such a high-end villa, but now it was reduced to a place where the artists under her management put their learning tools. Especially these hard bricks, which didn't match the villa at all. These cold weapons are actually real. Hao Yi saw a handsome broadsword. Tangwa gestured for him to pick it up. When he picked it up, he felt his whole body sink a little. Such a heavy broadsword. Even if he had great strength, it would be very difficult for him to wield it. In addition, he also saw many classical musical instruments here. Although he had never bought these things before, at least he had an eye for them. These things were not cheap. Any one of them would cost at least 50,000 yuan. There were even some that should be worth hundreds of thousands. These cold weapons did not have any signs of being made, but each of them was not simple. They were probably more valuable than those classical musical instruments. He felt that the goods here were cheaper than the batch of bricks just now. This is where Chi mainly studies. Hao Yi had done his research on the artists under Tangwa, so he knew who Jiang Chi was. She seemed to be filming a police and gangster film, which had been officially announced before. It was a very good role. Jiang Chi was definitely not a simple person to be chosen. Now that he saw this, he was not surprised at all. You can also learn the things here. The artists under me can learn anything they want, Tangwa said. Of course, the premise is that you are very interested. I'm quite interested in these things, Hao Yi said. He had never tried such new things before. Now that he had the chance, of course he wanted to touch it. The Peak. Chapter 4203. Hao Yi, do you have any thoughts about returning to this industry? For example, what kind of path do you want to take? Hao Yi thought for a while and said, I could try any role except for comedy roles. I don't think I'm suitable for comedy roles. I also think that with your image, comedy roles are indeed not suitable. Also, don't touch the domineering male leads of idol dramas. What do you think? That's exactly what I mean. This kind of role will have a lot of fans. Hao Yi said very seriously, now that I'm back, I want more roles that show my acting skills. No matter how many scenes I have, whether it's good or bad, as long as the audience can appreciate the role I play, it's fine. It's best if there are fewer romantic scenes. After Hao Yi said that, he reflected for a while. Am I asking for too much? No, this is to define your position. Only when you've found your position can you accept suitable scripts in the future. Then, for now, we'll rule out comedies, idols, and romantic scenes. System. Host, do you wish that he doesn't talk about romantic scenes at all? He even looks so serious that he almost fooled little Tongzi. Tangwa, you talk so much. You're becoming a gossip master. System. Haha. Then let's arrange the classes now. What instruments do you know? Are you still practicing? I know a few of the commonly used modern instruments, but I'm not proficient. I can play the songs of normal difficulty. I haven't learned any classical instruments. Then if there's something you like, you can learn it here. Let's decide what you want to learn first. All right, Zhuxiang and Yinjuyan will be back in 2 days. They're the artists I just signed. At that time, you can learn together. In the next 2 days, you can familiarize yourself with the theory and knowledge here. Hao Yi, do you know calligraphy? Tanghua asked because there were a few calligraphy pieces hanging on the wall in his room. They even formed their own style and had a house seal. I know a little. My father is a calligraphy enthusiast and taught me this since I was young. Later on, while I was bored and couldn't calm down, I would practice calligraphy here. Coincidentally, I also have calligraphy classes here. There are also many copybooks. If you're interested, you could take a look. Tanghua pointed to the other side. After Hao Yi walked over and opened it, he didn't move for a long time. Tanghua, Tongzi, if this kind of person doesn't become popular, who will? All he lacked was an opportunity. Even if he doesn't become an actor, he can still stand in a very high position, but he just doesn't want to give up this industry, so he's been waiting. System. Host, stop praising him. He's one of us. Now that he's met you, he'll become even more popular. Hao Yi thought that when Yinjuyan and Zhuxiang came over in 2 days, the teacher would also come over to teach them. When Tanghua said that she wanted to teach them martial arts and how to use those cold weapons, Hao Yi finally couldn't remain calm. He stared at Tanghua, who was holding the broadsword that he had struggled to wield before, and his eyes did not move away for even a moment. He thought that she was the daughter of a rich family and that she was rich. Like him, she came to this circle to realize her dreams. He had never thought that she would be so powerful. It was as if the girl who always spoke to him with a gentle smile a few days ago wasn't her. The girl in front of him was more like a valiant and formidable heroine. The Peak. Chapter 4204. Not to mention Zhuxiang and Yinjuyan. They were simply stunned by their new manager. Were the barriers to becoming a manager these days so high? After Tanghua finished practicing, she couldn't help but complain, I still don't have enough people under me. They're all busy. When can I, as a manager, not do it personally? System. Host, I think it won't be easy. Look, the people you support will become popular and have things to do. How can they have time to help you raise cattle? Tanghua thought about it and felt that she had suffered a great loss. Then arrange less work for them in the future. Every year, at least one of them will take a month off. The one who stays to rest will come and help me. Tanghua first taught them internal energy. Hao Yi was surprised that they could actually learn internal energy. But if they could learn it, then so be it. Everything here, some could be learned with money, but some could not be learned with money. Zhuxiang and Yinjuyan thought the same. They had never heard of such a serious manager who taught them to improve themselves. About a week later, the three of them could learn the things by themselves. Tanghua only needed to watch over them. In addition to learning these things, they still had acting classes every day. Tanghua, as their manager, would personally choose the scenes to act with them. Hao Yi, Zhuxiang, Yinjuyan, as artists, the past few days have been the time of their lives when they felt defeated the most. Hao Yi loved 3 weapons, a long sword, a broadsword, and a long spear. The moves that Tanghua taught him not only looked cool, but they were also not empty. Coupled with his internal energy, he felt that these moves could kill. The 4 classical instruments that Hao Yi loved were the guqin, the flute, the sun, and the eru. Tanghua chose many characters from the movies and TV series to act with Hao Yi. These characters were from ancient times. There were handsome young masters, cold swordsmen, iron-blooded generals on the battlefield, villains who were extremely bad, and small characters who crawled and rolled around. Among the modern characters, she picked out some common professional characters and let Hao Yi go through them. They were all characters with very little emotional scenes. In addition, Tanghua picked out some of the more outstanding roles in a movie for Hao Yi to try out. In the end, Hao Yi was born to play this role. Even if she wasn't satisfied with her performance at the beginning, she would be able to understand the character's thinking and express the character in her own way. How Ye's brilliance had also stunned Zhuxiang and Yin Juyin. This was a person who was bestowed by the heavens to eat. System, how bad can the talent of the person chosen by that guy be? Even if it was bad, he would probably secretly use some cheat codes for himself. Zhuxiang wasn't bad either. Although Zhuxiang also needed to practice martial arts, Tangwa didn't require her to master it. The most important thing was for her to improve her acting skills to the highest level and learn some other skills. Zhuxiang's face was very pretty, and she was still young. She could take on more modern dramas and ancient puppet dramas. As for Yin Juyin, the roles that she would receive in the future could not be the main characters, but they could still be very important characters in the drama. After confirming it, she focused on cultivating this aspect. In addition, she also asked Yin Juyin to learn some etiquette, tea arts, and health skills to create an elegant woman's life. Yin Juyin was already very elegant. Now, she just wanted to highlight this point of hers. Even if she played all kinds of roles in the drama, good and bad, after getting to know her and seeing her lifestyle, she would definitely attract a large number of fans. This group of fans wasn't young either. It could be said that they played a role in making middle-aged women elegant. Therefore, Yin Juyin still had a lot to learn. Yin Juyin, I can even learn how to make kipayos. Actually, when I was young, I really liked these things. Xiaogua, you said that you wanted to show my skills on Weibo in the future. I'm really excited. Sharing a beautiful life. I like this kind of thing. Sister Tang, what about Ai? Can I learn something else? I'm still young, and I'm not afraid of pressure. I can arrange my time. Zhuxiang looked at Yin Juyin. She couldn't learn to be elegant. Her personality wasn't like that. Chapter 42:05. Tangwa thought for a while. Do you know how to draw? If you're interested, you can learn how to draw. Start with sketching. From now on, you can share your learning progress every day. When you interact with your fans in the future, you can even draw your profile picture for them. Who knows? You might even need to draw for some of the roles you're filming in the future. Okay. I like drawing. Zhuxiang hesitated for a while before asking, Sister Tang, do you know how to draw? Yes. I'll get the butler to buy some tools later. I'll start teaching you in the afternoon. Zhuxiang. She shouldn't have doubted her. What couldn't this versatile manager know? She must be a god. All right. The three of you should also post on your blog to inform your fans that you're changing companies. Consider it a farewell to the past and for the future. The three of them expressed that there was no problem. Yin Juyin was older and wasn't popular. She didn't have many fans, only a few 100,000. The good thing was that there were many living fans. The people who were her fans now were really her fans, and they were the more rational kind. Yin Juyin, I signed with a company and met a very good manager. My future is promising. After the post was posted, it took about a minute before someone commented. They were all encouraging and very friendly comments. Zhuxiang had more fans than Yin Juyin. In terms of age, she was relatively younger. When she debuted, her performance was not bad. Although she didn't play the female lead, she played the second and third female lead quite a few times. Because she stuck to her principles, she couldn't get any resources. The competition was so big, so the company wouldn't spend so much effort to support disobedient actors who didn't bring them commercial value. So, after that, she could only go for auditions on her own, or the company would arrange some bad roles for her. Not only could she not solidify her fans, but she was also often ridiculed for not having many fans and having some haters. Zhuxiang, I changed to a new company. My manager is super good. I'm in class now. Wait for me to come back. After Zhuxiang posted on her blog, there were immediately comments. They all congratulated Zhuxiang and ridiculed her previous company. They were happy that she could change to a good company. Zhuxiang decided that from tomorrow onwards, she would share her progress in learning how to draw. Tangwa followed the two of them, and her gaze fell on Hao Yi. Hao Yi took out his phone and said calmly, I haven't logged into Weibo for many years. How many years is that? Tangwa asked. Zhuxiang and Yin Juyin were also very curious. They had heard a little about Hao Yi's history. Hao Yi smiled carelessly. It's been about 6 years. There are too many haters and crazy fans. Even if I shut off my private messages and comments, I can't stop those people from tagging me every day. The three of them looked at Hao Yi sympathetically. Hao Yi logged into Weibo. Because it had been too long, he had forgotten the password. It took him some time to get it back. When he logged in, there were indeed many posts about him. He clicked on them and found that most of the posts were from 5 to 6 years ago. Since 3 years ago, the number of posts about him had gradually decreased. The last post was from 3 months ago. He opened his private messages and comments. Since he had returned to this circle, he had to face these things. He had already become strong enough. Everything on the internet, no matter how much they talked about him, could no longer affect him. Hao Yi, from today onwards, I'm an actor again. Those who had stopped being fans back then had basically stopped being fans. He looked at the pile of numbers. He didn't leave without saying goodbye. When he left Weibo, he said goodbye to his fans. Now that he said he was back, it was very appropriate. Peak. Chapter 4206. How Yi was prepared for someone to scold him later. Even if many years had passed, the people who slandered him back then would probably not have a good impression of him. They would still mock him when they needed to. Even if they didn't mock him, Qidong would definitely do something if he knew about this. He knew the other party's character. The comments came faster than Hao Yi expected. What he didn't expect was that the first comment was actually 4 words. Welcome back. After this comment, there was a string of welcome back. It was the same as the crazy and passionate fans he remembered. Hao Yi quickly recalled that after so many years, the group of people who used to be his fans were all in their teens and 20s. Now that so many years had passed, most of them were over 20 years old. They were much more mature and should have such a reaction. However, there were still some relatively lively comments after that. For the time being, he didn't find anyone attacking him. He chose the first fan who welcomed him and replied, "Thank you." Naturally, that comment would become a hot comment. Although he didn't take the popular route, he was still very grateful to these people who were willing to like him and rationally support him. Later, a fan asked him if his contract had expired and he had signed with a new company. He also reminded him to look at the contract carefully. Hao Yi looked at this comment and smiled at Tanghua. They've all grown up. The little fan from back then seems to understand what's going on. You sound a little old. Tanghua also smiled, replied to the other party. Since they're still willing to follow you, they must really like you. They've all grown up and matured. There's a big difference from before. Hao Yi nodded. With this comment, he replied that he had signed with a new company and that there was no problem with the contract. He even mentioned that the manager was very good and that they would definitely work well together. At the same time, Tanghua, who was newly following Hao Yi, was also discovered by his few remaining fans. Good Brother should have signed with Morningstar Entertainment. Did you guys see that? Good Brother and Morningstar Entertainment's Tanghua are following each other. I saw it. What kind of company is Morningstar Entertainment? Good Brother won't lose out, right? To be honest, I regret what happened back then. I wasn't young and didn't know better. Later, after the big fans, I found out how new our Good Brother was. Morningstar Entertainment has a good reputation at the moment, and this agent has a good reputation too. Have you seen the recent season of Survival on an Island? The actress with the hen called Xiao Hua Hua is an artist under this manager. I know. I've been watching it every day. I've already climbed half of the wall. I didn't expect Brother Yu to come back before I could climb over, but I really like Brother Yu. Now that they both have the same manager, does that mean I can have both of them? I know that every time Brother Yu is asked how he learned these things, he always says that it's a one-on-one class for his agent. If that's the case, Good Brother has really met a good person. I never thought that I would be able to see my Good Brother return to the industry in my lifetime. I'm so touched. I have no more regrets in this life. These fans were not sending private messages. Instead, they were discussing this matter on Hao Ye's blog. Hao Yi silently watched their discussion with a gentle expression. There are still many people who care about you. By the way, did the fans call you Brother Yu in the past? Tangua's focus was a little strange. She always felt that it was not the case. Hao Yi's expression was a little uncomfortable. Of course not. Chapter 4207. Zhuxiang saw Hao Ye's indescribable expression and quickly said, "It's not a secret. Can't you find out after searching online?" In the past, fans used to call you Good Brother. Tanghua, I want to laugh out loud, but I'm afraid of hurting the artist's self-esteem. What should I do? System, laugh first. It's not a big deal. The host was good at coaxing people. How you could see that Tang Guo was trying to hold back her laughter, so he was relieved. Laugh if you want. Tang Guo really laughed, but she didn't laugh out loud. Instead, her lips and eyebrows were curved. When she smiled, she was especially charming. Zhu Xiang and Yin Zhiyan both felt that their manager had entered the wrong industry. Entering the entertainment industry with this appearance, her appearance alone was enough to suppress many people. Hao Yi, I can see that you don't like to post on Weibo, so I'll force you to do it. In the future, you can post whatever you want. If it's controversial, you still need to discuss it with me in advance. Hao Yi replied, okay. He was a little surprised that Tang Wu didn't care about his Weibo, so he asked, you don't care about my Weibo? Why should I care about your Weibo? I believe that you all know what to do. You're all adults, so you have to be responsible for your own actions. She was so busy, but she still cared about the artist's Weibo. She was dreaming. She should take care of it herself. How you really didn't have a strong desire to show off on the internet. In this kind of situation, he was more serious and said whatever he wanted, just like a veteran. In the past, his Weibo was managed by his uncle. Fortunately, he registered it himself, so it was easy to find the password. Zhu Xiang liked to interact with her fans, and Yin Zhiyan was also very willing to share her life situation. The three of them were very satisfied with Tang Guo's arrangement. You have half a year to study. If you meet a good role in this half a year, I will try my best to help you fight for it. So you have to hurry. The three of them nodded quickly. They didn't want to relax for a moment with such a good opportunity. After making arrangements for the three of them, Tang Guo went to check on Yu Jiwei and the other two during her free time. Yu Jiwei's house had already been built. The support of the house was made of dead trees. With his exquisite craftsmanship, he pieced the dead trees together and made some carvings. He had attracted a large number of fans, and even some old carpenters were watching Yu Jiwei's live broadcast. At first, the roof was covered with some grass. To prevent rain from leaking, he also added banana leaves to cover it. Later on, everything stabilized and he had some free time. He began to chop down dead wood and was making wooden tiles. This shocked the audience. It was clearly a challenge to survive on an isolated island, but when they looked at Yu Jiwei, it was as if they were looking at the wandering life of a craftsman. This feeling was really strange. Now that more than a month had passed, only about 30 of the original 100 people were left. Except for Yu Jiwei, everyone had lost a few pounds. Yu Jiwei was the only one who lived happily every day. If someone wanted to trade something with him, as long as they took out something of equal value, Yu Jiwei would not refuse. If others wanted to learn skills, Yu Jiwei would also try his best to teach them. This was what Tang Guo had told him from the beginning. If someone wanted to ask for advice, he could teach them. Without her systematic training, some things couldn't be learned in a short period of time. However, some small tricks were more useful for the people who were wandering on the island. Unknowingly, Yu Jiwei's actions had attracted a large number of fans, and he was completely popular. Chapter 4208. Recently, Yu Jiwei appeared on the hot search list from time to time and even doubled the ratings of the show. Even those who were not interested in the show came to watch it. Those who said that Yu Jiwei was just putting on a show felt embarrassed when they saw that he seemed to be living in seclusion on an isolated island. Tang Guo checked Yu Jiwei's Weibo again. Yu Jiwei only had a few 100,000 fans before, but now he had 5 million. After checking Yu Jiwei's Weibo, she contacted Jiang Qiqi and found out that she was making good progress. The director had specially hired her as the martial arts director of the crew. Many of the moves were discussed by her and the other martial arts directors. Jiang Qiqi had also been told by Tang Guo that if the martial arts director wanted beautiful moves, she could teach them. She did not need to worry about anything. Sister Tang, this is my first time being a sister. Now, other than the director, everyone calls me Sister Jiang. How do you feel? Not bad. I like this feeling. So this is who I am. I used to wrap myself up and deliberately become someone else to cater to the public. I always felt that something was wrong. So, you've let yourself go? Tang Guo remembered some time ago, Jiang Qiqi was photographed going to a bar late at night with several men. Originally, those people wanted to slander Jiang Qiqi, but they didn't expect that in the end, Jiang Qiqi was drinking with several martial arts instructors, and they were all knocked out by her. Sister Jiang, you're quite good at drinking. Sister Tang, I don't want to do it. I'll take it easy now. I won't cause you any trouble. It's okay. As long as it's not a mistake, you can act according to your nature. As long as you can withstand the pressure. It was not bad to have some topics to talk about. Anyway, she could clear her name. She could just take it that the paparazzi helped Jiang Qiqi promote and save some operating expenses. Host, the paparazzi who photographed Jiang Qiqi were undoubtedly warned by Cheng Xian. Don't worry about it. This kind of small action was harmless and would only make Cheng Xian more annoyed. Helei's drama would probably be completed in about a month. Tangwa called Helei's assistant and asked a lot of questions about the crew. After she had a good understanding of the situation, Helei came to answer the phone. Sister Tang, you're right. Fortunately, I didn't become arrogant because of your reminder. Cheng Xian's acting skills in the past half a month were like a rocket, improving rapidly. If I had maintained my original appearance, I would have been crushed by her. After discovering Cheng Xian's talent, Helei didn't dare to waste any more time. Every day, he would recall what Tangwa had taught him and read the works recommended by Tangwa. Fortunately, his talent was not bad, so he was not suppressed by Cheng Xian. But the two of them went back and forth, and their acting was indeed the highlight of every shoot. Because the two of them were exciting enough, the director even added scenes for them. Right now, Helei's scenes had already surpassed the second male lead, and Cheng Xian's scenes were only a little short of the female lead. Because of this incident, Cheng Xian was hated by the female lead. Recently, there was a lot of negative news about her, so she didn't have time to do anything. It's good that you know. There will always be someone better than you. In this circle, you must always have a learning attitude. Even if you meet someone with bad acting skills today, you can't mock them. Who knows? They might be enlightened in the future. You have to be especially respectful to those seniors. Sister Tang, don't worry. I don't dare to be arrogant. It's too scary, Helei said with lingering fear. All right, Sister Tang, I heard that you signed new person? Yes, you can get to know her after you finish filming. Chapter 4209. Sister Tang, are you very busy now? Helei hesitated for a moment before saying, Sister Tang, if you're not busy, can you come and visit me? I want to practice a few more scenes with you to get a feel for it. Tangwa could feel Helei's reliance on her as if he really treated her as a sister, so she agreed. Okay. Hao was sitting beside Tangwa and reading a book. When he heard Tangwa's words, he couldn't help but ask, Sister Tang, are you going to see Helei? Probably because of his training, he could hear Helei's reliance on Tangwa. He didn't know why, but he really wanted to see him. Yeah, Xiaolei should have a problem with his acting. I'll go and take a look. Hao said, why don't I go with you? I haven't seen the crew in a long time and want to get used to it. Also, I can get a feel for it. Tangwa obviously agreed. Hao couldn't help but smile. Tangwa thought that the director's scripts were all good, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to bring Hao along. Maybe there would be a suitable role in the next movie, and people would think of Hao. Since that was the case, she would bring all three of them along. Hao looked at the limousine and glanced at Tangwa sitting beside him. He didn't know where to put his expression. Didn't she say that the two of them would go together? Why were there two more people? I'll bring you to show your faces. Director Su is very good. He's a director who takes his work seriously. If you get familiar with him, he might consider you when there are good roles in the future. As long as you can move him, it's easy to get roles that aren't the female or male lead. As for the first role, with their current results, it wasn't enough to convince the public. Eating one mouthful at a time wouldn't make one choke. One had to walk step by step to be stable. The filming location was currently in another city. After they got out of the car, they still had to take a plane there. Sister Tang, isn't it too extravagant to be in first class? Zhuo Xiang asked. Will the company reimburse us? Tangwa waved her hand. I'm not going to reimburse this. It's more comfortable here. If you follow me, you'll get this treatment. 2 hours later, they arrived at the destination city. Not long after, they arrived at Helei's set. Coincidentally, they met Helei and Cheng Xian. The two seemed to be on par. Tang would discovered that Cheng Xian's acting skills had indeed improved a lot. He didn't find it strange. She was a movie queen, after all. She probably wasn't used to it before. Now that she met someone with good acting skills, it was normal for her to improve. After one scene, Cheng Xian and Cheng Xian, they both. Tang was appearance cheered, he lay up again. He lay discovered that there was a special gaze staring at him. Looking over, it was actually a very handsome man. Chalet, let's go. We'll find a place to practice. He lay retracted his gaze. Was this the artist that Sister Tang had just signed? That pair of eyes seemed calm, but why did he feel that there was a sharp knife hidden inside? However, this person's aura was really extraordinary. Why hadn't he heard of it before? Judging from his age, did he debut midway? Cheng Xian watched as Tang Gua left with a group of people. Her expression changed slightly. Each of Tang Gua's people was doing better than the other. She felt unconvinced. It was as if, after she left, Tang Gua distributed the resources to her people. These people all used the resources, and she was the one who dragged Tang Gua down. Cheng Xian, you've been doing well recently. Your acting skills have improved quickly. Director Su praised. Ilay is not bad too. You two work well together. Cheng Xian was unhappy to be praised. She had been in the entertainment industry for many years before she got the title of Best Actress. Ilay, this little fresh meat, could actually act with her. No matter how much she improved, he could take it. She had never succeeded in a scene. In the waiting room, Tang Gua and Ilay were acting. She realized that Ilay had reached a bottleneck. Although they had acted together before, it was only once, and it wasn't the best. Now, the scenes with Cheng Xian had improved. The previous scenes were not good enough. Just as Ilay was troubled, Hao Yi said, "Let me try. Maybe I can give you some inspiration." Chapter 42:10. The character that Ilay was playing was the third male lead. He was originally a hooligan who had nothing to do. But if one were to dig deeper, the reason why Fan Shi was able to become a hooligan was because he had a story that no one knew about. It was impossible for a normal person to suddenly become a nobody. In the beginning, Ilay's performance was very smooth. He portrayed the character of Fan Shi to the fullest. So, once the film was released, Ilay's character would definitely turn out to be a real hooligan. Ilay's fans would definitely be shocked by his performance. However, he was currently facing difficulties. He was the third male lead who was infatuated with the second female lead. So, he acted with Cheng Xian the most. Ever since he fell in love with Miyashue, he began to hate his identity as a hooligan. He felt that he was a filthy worm in the mud that could not be exposed to the light and was not worthy of standing beside Miyashue. However, they were destined to have a conflict. Fan Shi was destined to be a big help to Miyashue. In other words, he was the one who helped Miyashue do bad things. Ilay's initial analysis was that Fan Shi's character was infatuated with Miyashue. That was why he did things that violated the rules. Even though he knew it was wrong, he was still willing to do it because of this inferiority complex. He was even willing to sell his soul in order to climb to a higher position. So far, Fan Shi's progress had reached a point where no one would think of him as a hooligan anymore. At the very least, no one would talk about his past on the surface. Cheng Xian's acting skills had improved too quickly. So, when he acted with Cheng Xian, he could not act with the same mindset as when he acted with Tang Gua. Instead, he had to analyze Fan Shi's character. Ilay's bottleneck was that Fan Shi's character had changed. He was a little confused and unable to control Fan Shi. However, if he continued acting, there wouldn't be too much of a problem. But Fan Shi's character would no longer be outstanding. In fact, it would become a big failure in the later stages of the film. When the time came, the audience would only hate Fan Shi. Hao Yi, what do you think? Hao Yi was reading the script. As the filming for the day had ended, they had plenty of time to read it. Hao Yi read the script for 2 hours straight. During this time, he was particularly focused. Tang Gua asked when she saw that Hao Yi had reached the last page of the script. Hao Yi closed the script and said, "There's no problem. Let's give it a try." In the following plot, because of the male lead, Myaxu impulsively decided to get engaged to Fan Shi. When she proudly told Fan Shi the news, Fan Shi had to appear very happy. Then, he would do something to express his feelings. During the wedding, the Missy did not show any intention of attending. Instead, she simply called Fan Shi and told him that she did not want to get married. Instead, she told him that the wedding would be Fan Shi's solo performance. His beloved goddess wasn't coming on her wedding day. How would he react with just a phone call? By the time Hao Yi stood up, Tanghua had already sat down. She hooked her finger at Hao Yi, who was now Fan Shi. Even though Fan Shi was no longer an ordinary person, he still behaved like a puppy. He obediently walked over to Yashua and asked in a deep voice filled with love, "Yashua, what else do you need me to do? Marry me." Yashua lifted Fan Shi's chin with her index finger and stared at his handsome face. Seeing his surprised expression, she frowned and repeated impatiently, "Marry me." Chapter 42:11. Yashua. Fan Shi's excited eyes contained a hint of helplessness. He was like a child that had been neglected for a long time and was suddenly rewarded with a candy. He was happy, he was in disbelief, and he wanted it. He lay and the others stood nearby and watched with rapt attention. In particular, He was deep in thought. As expected, in his heart, the perfect Miyashua was his manager. But why did he suddenly feel that the perfect Fan Shi was the old artist that his manager had just signed? Earlier, he took advantage of the time to investigate Hao Ye's background. Perhaps this was his senior. Apparently, the incident back then was not simple. He snapped out of his daze and continued to watch the couple's performance. "You don't want to?" Miyashua pushed Fan Shi away in disgust. Fan Shi quickly snapped out of his daze and said, "As long as Yashua is willing to get married, we'll get married." He carefully observed Hao Ye's performance. His words, expressions, and actions were perfect. So, was this senior once a pervert? Especially the maturity of a hooligan. This was something that he lacked. Perhaps this required some life experience. He made a mental note of Fan Shi's performance. It seemed he would need to interact more with this senior to make Fan Shi's character better. "Okay, you can leave now. Everything's fine." To Miyashua, no matter how high Fan Shi's status was, he was still just a dog by her side. Of course, this was only the current situation. Everything would change as the plot developed and the characters' psychological activities changed. For example, it was already unbelievable that Miyashua wanted to marry Fan Shi. Based on her situation, she could have chosen someone else. Why did she choose Fan Shi? Did this mean that she also felt that Fan Shi was the only person that was loyal to her? Did she think that no matter what she did, Fan Shi would protect her and not hurt her? In reality, every scene with Fan Shi was a little different. It was a foreshadowing for future events. "Yashua, I'm going to prepare for our wedding. Where do you want to get married?" "Anything. You arrange it." For Miyashua's attitude, it was obvious that she wanted to get married out of spite. It was impossible that she really wanted to get married. Could Fan Shi not tell? Of course not. How could he not have seen through the fact that he had been a hooligan all this time? He just didn't want to shatter this beautiful dream. Marrying Miss Miyashua was something he never dared to think about in his entire life. Mia was the one who suggested it. No matter what the result was, he would prepare for it seriously. Therefore, when he turned to leave the room, there was a moment of sadness in his eyes. However, when he left the room and met other people, he revealed a happy expression. His joy was overflowing, and everyone could feel his happiness. Tang Gua had arranged for the rest of the people present to play small roles. Some of them were Fan Shi's subordinates, some were his friends, and some were people that he knew. This was Fan Shi's solo performance. He shared his upcoming happy event with everyone. The most ingenious way Hao Yi handled it was that every time he shared the news with others, he would leave his back to the camera before he left. One or two such scenes were nothing, but if there were several of them, it would mean a lot. Chapter 42:12. Hilei's eyes grew brighter and brighter. After the scene, he held Hao Ye's hand excitedly. "Senior, your back is amazing." "I got it. Thank you. Take a break. Let's do the second scene," said Tanghua. She was actually amused. She didn't know if how you knew about the grudge between her and Miyashue. After this scene, the audience might not have a good impression of Miyashue. They would think that Miyashue was too heartless and wouldn't like her anymore. If she couldn't make it right, then the most annoying character in the show would be Miyashue. Whether she could make it right or not depended on Chang Xian's skills. She felt that if Chang Xian found out about this, she would find a way to make it right. For Helei's future, she still hoped that Chang Xian could make it right. If the show was good, Helei's value would rise. Because of Chang Xian, he would continue to improve. Newbies needed to be whipped constantly. Hao Yi was resting. He held the script tightly. His heart was beating fast. When he was acting with Tanghua just now, and she mentioned marriage, he had a special feeling in his heart. At that moment, he was brought into the show. Yes, he was brought into the show by Tanghua. Now, he felt that his heart was beating faster. He didn't feel that he was in the show. It seemed that she was really saying that they should get married. Hao Yi quickly shook his head. No way. Was he so immersed in the show that he couldn't get out? What's wrong? Tanghua saw that Hao Yi kept shaking his head. She patted his shoulder and put her hand on his forehead. Are you not feeling well? If you are, rest first. Your forehead is not hot. Hey, it's a little hot. Tanghua was about to let go of her hand when she found that Hao Ye's forehead was suddenly hot. She looked down and found that Hao Ye's face was slightly red. Hao Yi held the script tightly. Go away. It won't be hot. But he didn't want to say this out loud. Seeing that Tanghua might ask him to rest, he said, maybe there's a lack of oxygen in the room. I'll be fine after some rest, Hao Yi added. He stood up and opened the window. The cold wind blew in, and the red on his face disappeared. I've already recovered. Tanghua walked in front of him and looked at him carefully. She reached out and placed her hand on his forehead. Hao Yi didn't have time to dodge. His manager was concerned about him. It didn't seem right for him to avoid her. Forget it, forget it. Isn't it just a touch on the forehead? System, forget it. Today, he touched his forehead, but tomorrow, he wouldn't know where it was. How careless. The second interview continued. Tanghua took out her phone and stared at the interview on the television. Today was supposed to be her wedding day, but she didn't even have the intention to change out of her wedding dress. It was her assistant who reminded her. Get married? Yes, young mistress. President Fan has already prepared everything and is on his way. Miyashue remained silent for a minute. She then lazily pulled out her phone and dialed Fan Shi's number. Hao Yi was also in the zone. He quickly pulled out his phone and answered the call with a nervous look on his face. Yashue, did you wait for too long? I'll be right there. He spoke quickly because he didn't expect Miyashue to not cancel the wedding even on the day of the wedding. So, he had great expectations. Perhaps he would be lucky enough to marry Miyashue. He spoke quickly because he had already expected something. Previously, when they communicated, it was Miyashue who spoke. He listened. He did what Miyashue told him. P. Chapter 42:13. This was the first time Fan Shi had picked up a phone call and spoke with a purpose. This meant that he did not want to hear anything other than the wedding from Miyashue. His hand trembled slightly as he held onto the phone. This showed that he was afraid. If this person was not Miyashue, he might have hung up the phone. However, he did not dare to hang up the phone. Although he appeared calm on the surface, his heart was in a mess. After Fan Shi spoke quickly, Miyashue's voice came through the phone half a minute later. I don't want to get married. Don't come over. Fan Shi's originally nervous expression finally changed. In particular, the smile on his face instantly disappeared. Okay. He did not ask why Miyashue had decided. He did not need to ask why. He would not hang up the phone. Miyashue did not hang up the phone either. Fan Shi tried to find something to say. Yashue, have you had breakfast? I'll bring it over for you in a bit. No need. Yashue hung up the phone. Next up was Fan Shi's personal performance. The smile on his face was no longer on his face. However, he did not say a single word. From preparing for the wedding in a rush to canceling the wedding, he did not say a single word. Everyone present stared at him as he announced that he would not be getting married today because of an accident. After the guests were evacuated, he was the only one left at the wedding venue. He looked at the elaborate decorations and walked out of the venue. His back was very, very long. After the two performances were over, He pulled Hao Yi away, and the two of them started to discuss in whispers. He felt that she was indeed a senior. She was not someone he could compare to. In the early stages, he acted quite well. However, in the later stages, he could not control his emotions well. So, he and Hao Yi exchanged contact details and followed each other's Weibo. It seemed they were planning to communicate for a long time. Hao Yi's vigilance towards He also unknowingly disappeared. Even he felt that he was acting strangely. After the discussion, He noticed that Hao Yi's face was a little pale. "Brother, you don't look well. Are you really sick?" "No." Hao Yi understood that he had gotten into character. It was not because he was in character. Instead, he was in character because the person playing Miyashue was his manager. When Miyashue said that she was getting married, he was genuinely happy. When she said that she wasn't going to get married, he was really disappointed, as if he had lost the whole world. At that moment, he thought he was Shi and Tanghua was Miyashue. He was clearly a very rational person. He had never been like this before. He didn't know what was going on. Could this be the aftereffect of not being in the spotlight for a long time? In any case, he needed time to calm down. Perhaps it was right for him to take on less emotional roles. If he were to get into character every single time, it would be too tiring. "System, you worry too much." "Sister Tang, I think there's something wrong with my good brother. He doesn't look well." He admired Hao Yi very much. Hao Yi had only read the script once, and he was able to act out Shi so well. Earlier, when he talked to Zhuxiang and Yin Zhuyun, he heard that Hao Yi was indeed very good. He understood that Hao Yi was a gift from God. Tanghua walked up to Hao Yi and touched his forehead again. A trace of helplessness flashed through Hao Yi's eyes. He felt his heartbeat quicken as an idea formed in his mind. This idea made his hand tremble. He raised his head and looked into Tanghua's eyes. He knew very well that she was Tanghua, not Miyashue. However, he still remembered the two scenes from earlier. He finally understood that the problem did not lie with the character. The problem lay with the manager. "Let's go. I'll take you to the hospital for a checkup. It would be bad if it's a hidden disease." "System. Host, I just did a scan for you. All of his organs are very healthy. There are no signs of disease. Don't worry, he's fine. He's as strong as an ox." Tanghua ignored the system and took Hao Yi to the hospital for a checkup. Seeing that she insisted, Hao Yi did not refuse. He decided to wait and see. If it really was, he didn't know what to do. He didn't want to become Shi. "System, did the host not hear what I said? His scan could not be wrong." Chapter 42:14. The medical report showed that Hao Yi was very healthy. "System. Host, see? I told you. How can a medical equipment here compare mine? As long as I want to, I'm a system that's more powerful than a microscope. I can see cells, bacteria, and molecules clearly." "Tanghua, I know. System. Then why? But everyone doesn't believe it, so I checked." "Everyone, don't worry. Look at how worried Xiao Lei is about his senior." She didn't expect that Hao Yi would gain a fan like he lay after showing off his skills. Now, He was looking at Hao Yi with shining eyes. He didn't have any works until now. He debuted as a popular young star, so he had a lot of fans. He took the initiative to follow someone's matter, and it attracted a lot of attention. Hao Yi's return, other than the fans who used to be his fans and hadn't forgotten him, they wouldn't care. Helay's next attack caused a splash. Not long after, Helay became a trending topic. Hashtag Helay follows hashtag then. Many people went to search and naturally found out that the person who was being followed was Hao Yi. Hence, Hao Yi also became a trending topic. Hashtag Hao Yi returns hashtag when Tanghua saw this, she couldn't help but laugh. She said to the few of them, "I have a feeling that you guys will help the company save a lot of publicity fees in the future." Look, it wasn't easy to become a trending topic. Hao Yi shook his head. "I haven't returned to work yet. I'll be mocked." "Then are you afraid?" Tanghua asked. Hao Yi said nonchalantly, "I've passed the most difficult time. This is nothing." He had once felt sad and annoyed about the online violence. He even couldn't sleep at night and doubted the world. But that was all in the past. He was still a calm person. Back then, he felt that the internet had affected him too much. After saying goodbye to his fans, he never logged on to Weibo again. Now, these words from the outside world couldn't affect him anymore. He didn't care whether it was a trending topic or not. But Tangwa seemed to be very happy that someone was helping to promote it. He was happy too, since his manager was very satisfied. Being a trending topic wasn't a big deal. "I'll arrange a job for you right away," Tangwa said. "I've already tested you just now. Not only did your skills not deteriorate, but they also improved. You must have worked hard in secret these years. It won't be a problem for you to act directly." However, he still had to go through the lessons. "I'll arrange everything for you. Once you get a role, just focus on your work." Tangwa turned around and said to Xiao Xiang, "You don't have to rush. Practice your basic skills first. When there's a good script, I'll help you fight for it. Sister Ian as well." That day, Tangwa asked the system to help her find script, mainly for Hao Yi. In just 3 days, the system had found a lot of them. He first deleted and selected them, then showed the best view to Tangwa. The script that Tangwa had her eyes on was an online drama, which was changed by an online drama. The most important thing about watching this web drama was that this character was not bad. Moreover, there were no emotional scenes at all. Although this drama was more relaxed, the role of the male lead didn't need to be as burdensome as regular drama roles. He just needed everyone to really play the role. The funny part of this fantasy web drama was the entire plot. In other words, everyone was acting seriously, but gave people a very funny feeling. If the production budget was sufficient, this drama would definitely be a hit. For a regular drama script, it would definitely be very difficult for Hao Yi to play the male lead. Even if it was an investment, he might not be able to get it. But for an online drama, it was different. According to her investigation, the director of this drama was currently looking for investment. Then, she would throw in money. After reading the script, Hao Yi also showed a very interested look. Although the whole drama was humorous, he really didn't need to pretend to be funny. He just needed to act as usual. He felt that the author was also a talent. He actually came up with such an interesting story. This drama is very good. Tangwa could see Hao Ye's worry. You're worried that the scriptwriter will make random changes and that the production budget won't be enough. This will make this drama a shoddy production, right? Yes. Actually, some of the scripts for online dramas are very good, but many investors don't like them. As a result, there isn't enough funding. Moreover, the script is randomly changed, so a good drama will be ruined. Tangwa's lips curved. Then you can rest assured. I plan to invest in this drama. We'll make the decisions for the entire production team. Hao Yi was stunned. They'll make the decisions? They made such a big deal as soon as they came. Hao Yi, act well. I'm very optimistic about this drama. It will definitely make me a lot of money. Hao Yi nodded blankly and read the script again. His agent didn't lack money. So if they made the decisions, this web drama would probably be a hit. Peak. Chapter 42:15. The script that Tangwa helped Hao Yi choose was called I Only Want to Rule the World. The gist of the script was that an emperor accidentally obtained a special ability, mind reading. He could hear the thoughts of the people around him. This emperor was originally a talented and ambitious man who wanted to rule the world. However, when he obtained mind reading, he realized that everyone around him was trying to stop his career from progressing. His loyal subjects, his obedient concubines, everything was just a facade. Among the courtiers, many hoped that he would die. They hoped that he would be able to assist a young prince to ascend the throne so that he would be easier to control. The concubines in the harem were all spies that were planted by various people around him. The joke of the script was that these subjects and concubines tried their best to stop his career, but he rejected them all coldly and heartlessly. This led to a series of ridiculous events. For example, one of the concubines added aphrodisiac to his wine, hoping that the emperor would never attend morning court again. He heard what the concubines were thinking, so he gave the cup of wine to the concubines to drink. After the concubines finished drinking, he threw them into ice water to soak. Another example was that the concubines always stopped him halfway and said that they wanted to play the zither, dance, and sing for him. Then he made them sing, dance, and play until they would never want to do it again. Another example was that the subjects complained about him in their hearts and thought of their own plans. Because after he heard it, they thought that they would be proud of their plans, but in the end, they were slapped in the face by the emperor. So, in this drama, everyone was acting seriously, but the effect was relaxed and funny. The next day, Tangwa contacted the director of this drama. So far, the director had raised a few 100,000 yuan, but it was less than 1,000,000 yuan. If it was a crudely made web drama, it was still possible to save money. The director felt that this script was really good and hoped that he could rope in more people to invest. The funds were basically used for the costumes. As for the actors, he planned to choose low-paid and not popular actors whose acting skills were passable. When Tangwa found the director, Li Chengfu, and said that she wanted to invest 10 million yuan in this web drama, he was stunned. Investing 10 million yuan in a web drama? Which idiot would burn money like this? Miss Tang, have you really thought it through? This is a web drama. Li Chengfu was worried that Tangwa didn't understand, so he deliberately repeated himself. Plus, the actors I choose may not be famous. Tangwa, I've already thought about it. Although this is a web series, I like it very much and think it's not bad. Most importantly, one of my artists has taken a fancy to the male lead in this drama. When Li Chengfu heard this, he wondered if the male artist had hooked up with this rich woman and wanted to act for fun. Li Chengfu looked embarrassed. 10 million was good, but he really didn't want to give the male lead, the soul of the whole drama, to someone who didn't know how to act. It wasn't easy for him to pick out this script. He didn't want to ruin it. Director Li, I'll recommend him. If you think he's good, then use him. If not, then don't. I'll still invest 10 million. What do you think? Tangwa could tell what Li Chengfu was thinking. Because of this, she was even more confident that the show would be a hit. His pay doesn't need to be too high. The director can arrange my 10 million yuan on his own. It would be best if he could arrange for it to be spent on costumes and makeup. As for the rest of the actors, you can choose them yourself. Li Chengfu thought to himself, how could there be such a good thing? She invested money, and she didn't just give him the actors directly. Instead, she wanted him to take a look first. Chapter 42:16. I wonder who Miss Tang is recommending. Li Chengfu asked. If the person was good, it wouldn't matter. If it really didn't work, he felt that they could discuss it and give the other party another supporting role. It wouldn't be difficult. He's waiting outside. If Director Li is free, you could try him out today. I just don't know if Director Li has completed the script. Li Chengfu said, it's all done. I personally edited this. He had high hopes for this drama and didn't want it to be messed up by others, so he personally edited it. Hao Yi, who was waiting outside, was called in. The director didn't waste time and directly handed him the script and showed him a few scenes. Actually, the moment he saw Hao Yi, he felt that if his acting skills were passable, it wouldn't be a problem to use this person. He was close to 30 years old, the golden age. He was handsome and had an indescribable temperament. He didn't give people a feeling of sharpness, but he was like wine that had been stored for many years. There would always be a mellow taste that left a lasting aftertaste. Also, Hao Ye's height was definitely the first male lead in his heart. He already had a brain. When he wore the black golden dragon robe, how extraordinary would it be? Therefore, the 10 million must be used to make a few more good-looking dragon robes and a crown. This was the main lead. In terms of clothing, he definitely couldn't be shabby. Hao Yi was already reading the script. Tangwa and Li Chengfu sat side by side. Seeing him staring at Hao Yi in deep thought, those small eyes of his narrowed, showing satisfaction from time to time, she knew that Li Chengfu was very satisfied with the current Hao Yi. As for the acting, she was even less worried. For today, she even asked Hao Yi to bring the props, a knife. Ever since he had the ability to read minds, this emperor liked to hang a knife on his waist. She didn't believe that the props team could make a good knife, so she took a real one. However, the opening was sealed with something so that it wouldn't hurt people. Director Li, I can provide the crew with some props, swords, weapons, and some decorations, wine vessels, and so on. Tangwa took out her phone and showed Li Chengfu the photos she took previously. Li Chengfu had good taste. At first glance, he couldn't help but praise in his heart. Good Lord, not only did she invest money, but she also invested in props. This was real. Although he couldn't tell the origin of these things, they were definitely authentic. Li Chengfu was excited. This way, the production crew would save a lot of money and could use it to optimize other things. Miss Tang, do you only need this role? Li Chengfu asked. Just now, he did a search and found that Tanghua was an agent. Yu Jiwei, who was very popular recently, was an artist under this manager. No wonder Yu Jiwei changed so much. It must be this manager's doing. Those training courses should be very expensive, right? Xingchen Entertainment was really lucky. However, his luck wasn't bad either. The artists under me are all busy. Currently, there are still 2 who are charging their batteries. I'm not sure about the specific roles in this script. I only found out that director Lee is preparing to shoot this drama after asking around. Therefore, he specially went to read the original novel of this drama and took a fancy to the male lead. She didn't know how the director would arrange the other roles. If there are any suitable small roles, I have 2 artists who are temporarily free. I can let them take a look. The director can arrange some roles for them. Vertex. Chapter 42:17. A few guest roles wouldn't affect anything. They could even let Zhuxiang and Yin Yang show their faces. The main thing was that this drama would definitely be a hit. Showing their faces wouldn't cause them to lose popularity. In the future, when the drama became popular, it would increase their discussion points. They definitely couldn't have too many scenes. After all, she still had to give them the script. When the time came and there were suitable ones, they would definitely focus on the main roles. Then we can let them come over and try. The other characters in this drama don't have a lot of scenes. The main focus is on the male lead. Li Chengfu was thinking that if they were suitable, he would definitely arrange it. Okay, then I'll let them in. Li Chengfu. Was this a manager who brought 3 leggings with her? Did she bring everyone with her wherever she went? He suspected that she was doing it on purpose. Tang was really doing it on purpose. As long as she was interested in a drama, she would definitely bring the artists under her to walk around and show their faces. Maybe this was an opportunity. Other than classes, they didn't have any other activities. They might as well come out and look for business. Zhuxiang and Yin Zhiyun were also called in. Tanghua introduced them to the basic information. When he saw the 2 of them, Li Chengfu's eyes lit up again. Zhuxiang was playful and cute. Yin Zhiyun exuded the aura of a middle-aged woman. They were both very attractive. He quickly recalled the roles in the script in his mind. In the end, his gaze fell on Yin Zhiyun. He quickly flipped through the script and said to Tanghua, I think Yin Zhiyun might be able to try out for the role of the Empress Dowager. If there's anyone in the palace who is sincere to the Emperor and wishes him well, it's the Empress Dowager, who isn't his biological mother. On the surface, the Empress Dowager's attitude isn't very good. Before the Emperor had the ability to read minds, he had misunderstood her. But after he had the ability to read minds, he realized that she was the one who was truly good to him. However, after the Emperor had the ability to read minds, the Empress Dowager always thought that he was crazy. So, this role will still require some acting skills. Let's give it a try first. Thus, Yin Jian also got the script for the Empress Dowager to read. She would be able to rehearse with Hao Yi later. Zhuxiang is a very young lady. I can only see youth and purity in her. Li Chengfu pondered slowly. She fits the role of the Emperor's cousin very well. However, this cousin is a white-skinned, black-skinned sesame rice ball. I don't know if this girl can handle such a role. Let's take a look. Just pick 2 parts, one good and one bad. Let's see how well you can understand the role. Zhuxiang took the script very seriously. Even if it was a show that her manager had invested in, she would still do it, even if it was very tiring. Li Chengfu couldn't help but sigh. He had never seen anything like this before. The manager brought a few artists over. The artists were all like obedient children, and their attitudes were so good. Moreover, the image of these people was indeed very suitable for the role he had chosen. If the final result was good, it would be a good thing. Director Lee, I'll invest 10 million in you first. You just have to make sure that the finished product is of high quality. If you don't have enough money, give me a call. If you need any props, you can communicate with me first. If I can provide them, you don't need to use fake props. Li Qingfu thanked him very excitedly. His luck had really turned for the better. The three of them took an hour to ponder over the script. They were all very free today. Li Qingfu wasn't busy either. Even if he was, he couldn't be busy at this time. Peak. Chapter 42:18. An hour later, the three of them started to rehearse. Li Qingfu chose scenes that were related to the three of them. Tang Wu did not plan to rehearse with her artists outside, in case Li Qingfu saw it and asked her to act. She was very busy now and did not have time to act. She was a manager and did not want to act. After the scenes, the three of them looked good. Haoye's performance was impeccable and Li Qingfu was very satisfied. Yin Jiyun's role as Empress Dowager was also very good. Especially when she acted with Hao Yi, he decided on the spot. Zhuo Xiang was slightly worse, but it could be seen that she had some foundation. When the time came for training, the effect would not be bad. Hence, Li Qingfu said that the three of them would use it and sign the contract. Then I will provide the costumes for the three of them. Tang Wu spoke again. In the system space, there were many costumes from different worlds. Finally, there was something that could be used. When she came, she even took some samples and showed them to Li Qingfu. When he saw the photos, Li Qingfu's lips trembled. Exquisite was not enough to describe it. The embroidery on it was superb. Li Qingfu felt that he had a beautiful dream today. After Tang Guo left with her people, he held the contracts in his hands and woke up. It was not a beautiful dream. Not long after, he received a huge sum of money. His heart almost jumped out of his chest. The money was in place and most of the props were provided. Then all that was left was all the actors. He definitely could not choose actors who were famous. He would go to the school and look at them one by one. Then, he would look for some old actors who were not famous but had good acting skills. According to the market price, this expenditure should not be too big. Actually, there were other supporting roles in this drama that were more outstanding. It was just a matter of whether those old actors were willing to act. Now that he had money, Li Qingfu was full of enthusiasm. He started to look for actors in a hurry. Naturally, the news that Li Qingfu was going to act in this drama slowly spread. After understanding the original novel, many people were interested in it and wanted to fight for the role. There were also some who were willing to invest a few million. There was even a person behind an artist who was willing to invest 10 million, but was rejected by Li Qingfu. When Tang Guo heard this, she invested another 20 million. Ju Tao Li Qingfu. Actually, he didn't think of agreeing. That artist's acting isn't good, and he doesn't want to ruin the script. However, since the money was already in his account, there was no point in rejecting it. He could only do his best to make this show. Perhaps he could buy the rights to broadcast it online. In the future, if it was approved, there would be television stations that would take a liking to it. Therefore, Li Qingfu was very serious about this matter. He did not let go of any details and felt that every place had to be carefully thought out. The boss behind the male artist who valued the role of the emperor felt that it was not worth it to spend 20 million yuan on him, so he sent him to another production team. Li Qingfu felt that it was better to announce the male lead as soon as possible and inform Tang Guo about it. So, Tang Guo brought her props, costumes, and most importantly, Hao Yi to take a photo shoot. Li Qingfu looked at the costumes and props brought by Tang Guo and couldn't help but put on a pair of gloves to touch them. Sure enough, the embroidery was exquisite. It was a little different from the costumes unearthed in history, but it didn't affect its beauty at all. After taking the photo, Li Qingfu couldn't wait to make the official announcement. Hao Yi cooperated and reposted it. Tang Guo also reposted it. After the artists under her saw it, they also reposted it. When Xingqin Corporation saw it, they also reposted it. This was their ace manager. As for Tang Guo investing in this show, they didn't know. If Tang Guo didn't take the initiative to say, no one would ask. She could get resources for Hao Yi, and the company couldn't wait. It wasn't a loss, so it was only right to repost it and support it. Li Qingfu didn't expect that a web drama would end up on the hot search list. Among them, Yu Jiwei and He Lei's reposts were the main reason why this show became a trending topic. The two of them had a total of 10 million fans. After they reposted it and supported it, they naturally received extra attention from their fans. To be honest, the majority of netizens were attracted by Hao Ye's appearance after seeing his photo. When the search results came out, they found out that this was the return of the popular young actor. Some congratulated him, some welcomed him, and some mocked him. They started to spread rumors about him. Actually, he didn't have any rumors. Most of them were made up by some people. Tang didn't care about it for the time being. However, the system helped her write down the names of the people who had defamed Hao Yi. Li Chengfu was very fast. In a month, everything was ready. Hao Yi and the other two were packed and thrown into the production team. Tang Guo assigned a driver, assistant, and bodyguard to each of them. The peak. Chapter 42:19. In addition, she was the biggest investor. She moved everything into the villa and arranged for people to send the props to the production team. These were all professional bodyguards that she hired. These things were all exquisite, so they had to be careful. Especially for every weapon, she asked Qi Xiao to help her seal the opening with something to prevent the sword from being blind. There was no problem using them for filming. The sharp openings had all been removed with the help of immortals. It was impossible for mortals to let the sharp openings reappear. In terms of safety, it was over. When the camera started rolling, what made Li Chengfu even more surprised was that Hao Yi actually knew martial arts. What kind of treasure did he pick up? He had also investigated Hao Yi and found out some things from back then. He felt that although Hao Yi had left the industry all these years, he really did not waste it. Originally, when it was the Emperor's turn to write and write memorials, the camera would be divided into the hands and the actors. There would not be a scene of him writing the entire time, because not all actors were well-versed in calligraphy. But this was not necessary for Hao Yi at all. All the camera needed was the full body shot bit by bit. Hao Yi's calligraphy was actually very good. When it came to the part where the Emperor showed his skills and avoided the assassins, Li Chengfu realized that Hao Yi was especially handsome when playing with the sword. He could not help but film for a while. Li Chengfu also realized that Yin Zhuyin was not simple. This woman knew all kinds of etiquette, tea ceremony, and flower arrangement. These are really not difficult. She was already at a professional level. Therefore, Yin Zhiyun's Empress Dowager was not only noble, but also alive because of these things. She did all these things very naturally, without the slightest bit of pretense. Hence, Li Chengfu cast his gaze on Zhuxiang. He wondered what kind of surprise this young girl would bring to him. Zhuxiang did not disappoint him. Originally, there was a water sleeve dance in the script. Because Zhuxiang's hands were not bad and she had some dancing skills, after the teacher taught her, her performance was especially perfect. She could even dance in the palm of a person's hand without any pressure at all. Li Chengfu's heart thumped every day. Tang saw that everyone was performing very well. The props she provided were also used. With one look, she knew that the setting was not skimped on. She was also in a good mood. This drama was already better than many star dramas. There should be a surprise when the time came. On the other hand, He Lei had already finished filming. He even came over to watch the drama. Sister Tang, Chang Xian is really not simple. In the end, she made a comeback. As long as the audience sees the final scene, they will not hate her character. Tang Guo nodded her head. Sister Tang Guo, He Lei said nonchalantly. What's there to be disappointed about? If this show can succeed, it will be the greatest benefit for me. Chang Xian's explanation made the audience feel that she was actually quite friendly towards Fan Shi's character. Didn't Sister Tang say that she just needed to focus on acting? There is no need to think so much. Good brother, you look like a real emperor. He Lei praised. He looked at Hao Yi, who was filming like a little fanboy. As expected, a good brother was a good brother. Dear host, there's a lot of bad news about Hao Yi on the internet, especially the rumor that Hao Yi is a kept man. That's why he took on the male lead role as soon as he came back. Chapter 42:20. Got it. I'll get the company to release a statement to make our stance clear. Tang Guo wasn't surprised that Qi Dong would do such a thing. Let them continue to slander him. Hao Yi doesn't have any dirt on him. If they slander him too much, there'll be a backlash. Have they kept all the evidence of Hao Yi's slandering? Don't worry. We have kept all the evidence and can use it any time. Tang negotiated with the company and asked them to clear Hao Yi's name on the company's account. They didn't have to say much. They just had to say that it was a rumor and that Hao Yi was innocent. The company would investigate the source of the photo and clear Hao Yi's name. This was of no use to the ghostwriters and anti-fans. Tang also knew that this was just an attitude. She also asked Hao Yi to post a message with a few simple words. The innocent knows they are innocent. He didn't have to say much. This post was just for his fans and to give the public an explanation. As for the anti-fans who wouldn't let it go, it wasn't within his consideration. Just focus on filming. I'll help you with the rest. Hao Yi replied, okay. Hao Yi didn't care how the netizens scolded him now. No matter how bad the words were, he would pretend not to see them. After seeing Hao Yi's post, the artists under Tang all reposted it. Except for Yu Jiwei, who didn't have a phone, no one left. They all tried to prove Hao Yi's innocence. This was the first time they had seen such a scene in the entertainment industry. Among all the artists, only He had more fans. He's core fan base was controlled by the system. Under his control, those brainless fans who wanted to cause trouble had already been fired. Those who stayed would listen to the system and wouldn't cause trouble. They even liked He's post. Li Chengfu, who was busy filming, didn't pay attention to these things. He didn't believe that Tang Guo couldn't handle such a small matter. She must have other ideas. As a tool, all he needed to do was focus on filming. At the moment, there were all kinds of scoldings online. Unknowingly, a post to boycott, I only want to rule the world, appeared. The ghostwriters and anti-fans seemed to have taken stimulants and didn't want to let it go. For 3 days, Hao Yi only made a simple clarification statement and did not say anything else. The ghostwriters and anti-fans did not give up. The passers-by who were watching the show could no longer sit still. Passerby, you guys said that Hao Yi is being kept by someone, but those few pictures are still blurry. Isn't he just standing beside a luxury car, and he's being seen as having a sugar daddy? Passerby B, I'm just a passerby, but even I can't take it anymore. I thought that you guys would release even bigger melons, but in the end, you're just saying the same few words over and over again. If you're so capable, why don't you catch me in bed? Passerby C, that's right. I've commented before that we shouldn't talk too much about such groundless things without any evidence. Otherwise, we might end up getting slapped in the face. Besides, it had already been a few days, and it was still the same few pictures. There was no concrete evidence at all. Was it so popular to slander people without any basis? I promise, I'll just say what's on there. In the end, I'll be beaten up into a fan of Hao Yi by those idiots. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have known who Hao Yi was. I even went to search for him and found out that he's so handsome that even gods and men would be angered. Passerby, Hao Yi should have debuted 10 years ago. After he debuted, he was popular for a while. Later on, for some reason, he suddenly disappeared. I heard that he was banned by the company. Speaking of which, if he had a sugar daddy, would the company dare to ban him? I suspect that when he returned to play the male lead, he was seen as blocking the way. That's why they specially hired ghostwriters to slander him. Chapter 42:21. Passerby C. Yes. You're absolutely right. Isn't the entertainment industry all like that now? They treat us netizens as fools. The key is that some fools have really been led by others. Troll Army 1. You guys are Hao Yi's fans, right? Stop being so reasonable. Don't think that you can speak up for Hao Yi just because you have an alias. Troll Army 2. Group money. Troll Army 3. Brother, if there's money, let's earn it together. Passerby, get lost. Hater Seema. Passerby B. In this day and age, can't you speak up for someone? Once you speak up, you're Hao Yi's fan. All right, just based on these few words of yours, I'll be Hao Yi's fan from now on. Troll Army 5. Go back and lick your god's feet. Stop embarrassing yourself here. Passerby C. Troll Seema. In Tang was expectations, Hao Ye's fans did not quarrel with the trolls. They were all restrained to their own territory. Passerby, however, could not stand it. After saying a few more words, he was turned into Hao Ye's fan by the trolls and trolls. Hence, the trolls and trolls started a fight. For a moment, it was a heated debate. People who saw it felt like their worldview had been destroyed. At first, when Qi Dong saw the situation on the internet, he was quite happy. There were two reasons why he wanted to mess with Hao Ye. Firstly, Hao Ye had once stumbled upon a scandal. Secondly, Hao Ye was too talented. Among their group of people, Hao Ye was the most outstanding. No matter what he did, Hao Ye basically understood it after watching it twice. As for the others, they had to work hard and rack their brains before they could barely grasp it. For example, him, Jiu He Shu Yuan. He knew too well that if Hao Ye really used this drama to show himself in front of people, the biggest possibility was that he would catch up very quickly. Others might not understand, but he was in the same room as Hao Ye back then. That kind of shocking talent was too scary. It had been 3 days since the incident. Qi Dong thought that Hao Ye's company might not be able to take the pressure and that there would be some trouble with the production team. But he did not expect that Hao Ye and Morningstar Company would not do anything other than make a statement at the beginning. Until today, 3 days later, when more and more people stood on Hao Ye's side and trolls started to fight, he felt that something was wrong. In particular, the drama that Hao Ye was currently filming and the original novel were both trending. Why did he have a feeling that this matter was helping Hao Ye advertise? He also wanted to release some concrete evidence so that everyone would believe that Hao Ye had hooked up with a rich woman. However, Hao Ye was too clean. It was impossible to find any major mistakes. The passers-by and the haters were still arguing. Hao Ye had been filming in the set and had not left at all. All the sets were set up by the production crew. Most of the props were provided by Tanghua, so they did not need to move. The only ones who left the set were Hao Ye and the other two. If they did not have any scenes the next day, they would be sent back to the Tanghua villa to rest. The paparazzi quickly took pictures of Hao Ye being sent to the high-class villa area. When Qi Dong got the photo, he was a little surprised. Could it be that he hit the jackpot, and Hao Ye really got close to a rich woman? A trace of excitement appeared on Qi Dong's face. He hadn't expected that after so many years, Hao Ye still wouldn't be able to avoid such customs. Yes, in this circle, without a background, it was simply difficult to move an inch. Even the incomparably noble Hao Ye could only do as the Romans do. Qi Dong did not hesitate and asked someone to publicize these photos. Hao Ye, aren't you living a good life outside the circle? Why did you come back? Peek. Chapter 42:22. Good brother, you're being photographed again. Hele was especially concerned about this matter. Because of his status as an artist, he could only watch as the haters scolded him. His heart felt like it was being scratched by a cat. He wished he could do it himself and scold these people until their mothers couldn't recognize them. If Hao Ye was said to have hooked up with a rich woman, then weren't all of them hooked up with a rich woman like their agent? Hao Ye glanced at them indifferently and continued to eat the hot pot. His manager had said to leave this matter to her. She wasn't worried, so why should he be? When Tanghua saw Hilei's anxious look, she pursed her lips and smiled. Xiaolei, why don't you take a picture and share your hot pot life tonight? Hele thought it was a good idea. It was already so late. If he posted a picture of hot pot online, the group of children would definitely cry. Those young fans usually complained about losing weight, so he would eat hot pot in the middle of the night for them to see if they were greedy. All the artists under Tanghua had to practice martial arts. Even if they didn't practice their moves, they had to practice their inner strength every day. Relatively speaking, their energy consumption was very high. They didn't need to control their diet at all. This was also why Tanghua insisted that they practice martial arts together. They didn't need to control their diet and could maintain a good figure. The other artists could only be envious. Being an artist was already stressful. It was so pitiful that they couldn't eat and drink well. Hele was about to start taking pictures. He sat on Hao Ye's left. This was the first time he took a picture with his idol. No one was allowed to snatch it away. Naturally, the right seat belonged to Tanghua. Everyone knew what was good for them, especially Yin Zhuyan. She instantly understood why Tang Guo wanted to take a picture of Hele. She was trying to clear Hao Ye's name, thinking that from now on, everyone would be envious of them for having a rich manager. She actually felt a little smug. Hao Ye also thought of Tang Guodu's intention. In fact, it's not that he doesn't surf the internet, but he also took advantage of his free time to record the marketing accounts that slandered him. All the evidence was collected by him. He hadn't forgotten about the internet trolls in the past. Halfway through, he had become a lawyer. Now that he was back, with such ability, he would definitely take revenge. He would teach this group of marketing accounts, who liked to talk nonsense, a lesson. However, he still had to discuss this matter with his manager. Also, he had to wait until he finished filming this drama. However, it could be submitted earlier. The court wouldn't be open so quickly for this kind of thing. According to Hao Ye's calculations, Hele took a photo that he was very satisfied with. The most prominent person in the shot was him and Hao Ye. Tang Guo saw that the total number of positions she occupied was pitifully small. She felt that she should arrange more work for Hele in the future. He was her idol every day. How could he chase after her all the way here? System. Haha, this is the first time. Host, you finally understand how much pain you're feeling right now. Take a few more photos to make a grid, Tang Guo suggested. I have such a nice house. And you only use it to take photos? Hele was stunned. Isn't it good to take a photo with your idol? Was background important? Even Zhuo Xiang reacted. She burst into laughter and said to Hele, what Sister Tang means is that she wants to use these photos, especially this mansion, to clear her good brother's name. Hele finally understood. He very reluctantly took a photo of the background. However, he still kept the photo that he had taken with Hao Ye at the beginning. He even planned to put it in the first photo. After taking the photo, he posted on Weibo, the top. Chapter 42-23. Hele, the first time we've gathered after filming, we're having hot pot at our manager's place. Hao Yi Tang Guozhu Xiang at Yinjuyan. What a pity that both of you aren't here. Don't know when we'll meet again. Yu Jiwei Jiang Qiqi at the same time. Zhuo Xiang and the rest posted photos from different angles, showing off some of the luxurious parts of the villa. When these posts were posted, Weibo exploded. Hence, many people held back their greed and started to identify the real and fake villa. The more they looked, the more they drooled. This was a real villa. Everyone also understood that this was Hao Ye's response. Some people said that he had been sent to the villa, but they didn't know that Hele and the rest were inside. What was even more unbelievable was that this villa belonged to their manager. The netizens were speechless. The others stared at the activity on Weibo and saw that the discussion was in full swing. Many people said that their faces hurt and they couldn't help but laugh. Tang Guo didn't mind that her identity was exposed at all. It would be exposed sooner or later, so she might as well let everyone know that she was not a simple manager. Since she wanted to promote her artists, she would do it high up. She already had 6 artists under her management, so she wouldn't accept any new artists in the short term. At least, she would wait until this batch of artists had won the highest achievement award. Therefore, she also posted a blog post. Tang Guo, a few days ago, there was a rumor online that Hao Yi was being kept by a rich woman. Yes, the rumor was right. Hao Yi at Hele Yu Jiwei Jiang Qiqi, at Yin Jian Zhuoxiang, they're all kept by me. Now they're staying at my place and eating my food. Does anyone have any objections? When the netizens saw this post, only one word came to their minds: arrogant. This manager was too arrogant. However, he seemed to be very confident. When Tang Guo posted, Zhuo Xiang was the first to play tricks. She quickly reposted, Xiang Xiang greets Sugar Daddy Tang Guo. Yin Zhuyin and the rest also reposted. Hao Yi also reposted and added, Sugar Daddy, please take care of us. Tang Guo. At this moment, the entire internet was paralyzed. When Li Chengfu saw this, he quickly updated his blog post, explaining how Tang Guo had invested in the film and the props she had provided for the film crew. He also posted all these records. He could tell that Tang Guo wanted to do something big. In any case, he wouldn't lose anything by coming out at this time. In the end, Li Chengfu added, if you want to know how many exquisite things are in the show, please pay more attention to I Only Want to Rule the World. When this advertisement was released, Li Chengfu felt that he was a little genius. He was sure that many people would be interested in the show from now on. Perhaps after the auction, it could be sold for a good price. Web dramas? They wouldn't be web dramas anymore. They would only be dramas that had been sold for broadcast on the internet. That night, the netizens did not need to sleep. Hao Yi ignored the uproar on the internet. Instead, he was discussing with Tang Guo about his plan to sue the marketing account. Go ahead and sue them. These irresponsible marketing accounts are all trying to gain popularity. Sue them as you wish. I'll take care of everything for you. The executives of Morningstar Company were all asleep. However, they were woken up by the phone call. They were already very sleepy, but when they saw such a big thing happening on the internet, their sleepiness disappeared. All the executives went to the group chat. The first to speak was Manager Louis Mao. Little Tang is a hidden rich girl. Damn, I was wondering why she would do that kind of thing with an artist. P. Chapter 42-24. What's the matter? Lu Yimao explained the matter to them. The higher-ups were silent. What kind of weird manager was she to bring an artist to practice marksmanship? Did she have too much money to burn? In the end, they unanimously decided to let Tang Bingyao do whatever she wanted. Ever since Chang Xian left, the artists under her management had been getting better and better. Because of this, the company was doing better and better. Lu Yimao, then it's settled. Let's pretend that we don't know anything. As long as it's good for the company, Tang Bingyao can do whatever she wants. Tang Bingyao is focused on promoting artists, so she will definitely have her ways to get resources. However, if the company has any good resources in the future, we will need to send them to her first. We won't lose anything. Manager Su, isn't that obvious? Tang Bingyao might not even care. She's investing 30 million yuan and sponsoring all kinds of props. Li Qingfu is probably laughing in his sleep. The ones who had the most trouble sleeping were Qi Dong and Chang Xian. Chang Xian's eyes were a little red. Her ex-manager turned out to be a rich girl. She immediately had a thought in her mind. Did Tang Bingyao dislike her? Otherwise, why would she wait until she left before using her own resources to nurture an artist? On the other hand, Qi Dong was going crazy with jealousy. Why didn't he have such a good manager? He didn't even need to do anything to receive so much. However, he wasn't worried that Tang Bingyao would seek revenge. His backer was Sister Yang. Not many people dared to provoke her. Even rich girls couldn't. However, at this time, it was useless to defame Hao Yi. So, he could only give up. However, he had to find a way to get the resources after Hao Yi's drama. With his experience, it was easy for him to get the resources. In this industry, sometimes money didn't mean anything. It also depended on relationships and favors. Chang Xian couldn't sleep that night. The world had gone crazy. Originally, she wanted to slap Tang Guo in the face. But she didn't get off to a good start. Her previous drama was already in post-production. So, she felt that the response would be very good after it aired. However, because of Ilei's role as Fan Shi, Miyashiwa's glory would be stolen. At least half of the attention would be stolen. If it wasn't for Ilei's role as Fan Shi, Chang Xian was certain that her role as Miyashiwa would be the most outstanding. Forget it. I'll take it one step at a time. This world is different. Because her career wasn't going well, Chang Xian looked at the child that the original owner gave birth to and felt a little impatient. The next morning, Tang Guo logged into Weibo and found that many people had left comments under the latest blog post. Patron, what do you think of me? I can sing, tell jokes, and warm your bed. When you're sad, I'll make you happy. When you're happy, I'll make you happy. Sugar Daddy, please take care of me. I want to experience this kind of happiness too. Tang Guo had already expected that she would gain a lot of fans, but she was still a little surprised that she gained hundreds of thousands of fans in one night. Furthermore, some fans helped her create a super post called My Story with My Sugar Daddy. Hao Yi and the others had already been sent to the set. Ilei, this little fanboy, insisted on going to watch Hao Yi's filming. He said that he wanted to watch it live and gain experience. After learning about it, Tang Guo decided to see if there was any work that could be arranged for Ilei. Because the drama had not been aired yet, he still gave people the impression that he was a popular young actor who did not have any works. She discussed it with the company and did not intend to deliberately create hype. At most, she would take advantage of the situation that happened to Hao Yi. That way, the effect would be better. The next day, Tangwa arranged for He to be interviewed by a TV station. She packed He up so that he would not have to watch Hao Ye's filming every day. He was already an artist, yet he still chased after celebrities and did not do his job properly. System. Dear host, does your conscience hurt? Tangwa. I'm doing this for Xiao Lei's own good. Attending more events will help him grow. She did some calculations and realized that Yu Jiwei had already been on the island for more than 2 months. So, she turned on her live stream and the camera fell on Yu Jiwei's room. Chapter 42:25. The house in front of her had changed a lot. There were all kinds of things around the house. Many of them were handmade by Yu Jiwei. Tangwa could only see these clearly after she turned off the bullet screen. Otherwise, the screen would definitely be filled with comments. At this time, there were only 3 people who were still holding on. There was also a man and a woman. The 2 of them were able to hold on until now because of Yu Jiwei. However, because of the restrictions of the rules, they were not as comfortable as Yu Jiwei. They were now tanned and skinny. What the 2 of them were doing now was to look for things every day to exchange with Yu Jiwei and fill their stomachs. It was not a problem for them to hold on until the end. However, Tangwa felt that in their situation, if they continued to hold on, they would attract a lot of ridicule. Because all the things they needed were exchanged with Yu Jiwei. They might even lose popularity. However, the reward for holding on until the end was too good. No one could resist this temptation. As for the 2 of them, one was a streamer and the other was a blogger who made short videos. In terms of appearance, they were not outstanding. However, it was true that they could endure hardships. Yu Jiwei's fans felt that the 2 of them were thick-skinned and had held on until now because of Yu Jiwei. Moreover, this was a live broadcast. It was within the rules. If Yu Jiwei did not agree to exchange, he would definitely be accused of being selfish. Actually, Yu Jiwei really did not care about the thoughts of the 2 of them. To be able to exchange things with him was their ability. It was not that he did not notice that the 2 of them were deliberately trying to gain popularity. After all, he had been in the industry for some time. Even in the industry, such situations were common. Given the current situation, he really could not do anything to the 2 of them. Since he could not do anything, he would exchange with them within the rules. He tried his best to make his things exquisite, beautiful, and delicious. Even if they were of similar value, it would give people the impression that the 2 of them were taking advantage of each other. Faced with the 2 of them deliberately trying to get close, he acted neither too close nor too close. He did not want to be stuck to by the 2 of them after the challenge. He finally knew what it meant to be thick-skinned. Yu Jiwei did not know the 2 of them before. Actually, the streamer and blogger were the especially shameless kind. They could endure hardships, but now that they had such a good opportunity to rise up, they would definitely not let it go. Moreover, the final reward was so generous. There was less than a month left. The entire country's audience was watching. They couldn't give up halfway. Lose face. Their selling point was to stuff their faces into their pockets. As long as they could become famous and earn money, they could be shameless. Dear host, these 2 people have been trying to ride on your popularity and take advantage of your artists. The system briefly told Tangwa about what had happened recently, and it felt a little angry. That's because Xiao Yu is too popular now. There will definitely be people trying to ride on his popularity. It's normal. Actually, what happened on the island wasn't too much. As long as they do not purposely buy advertisements or use marketing accounts to tie Xiao Yu up, I will let this matter rest. If it were anyone else, as long as they were willing to go all out, they would have made the same choice. It was a little shameless, but it was human nature. Xiao Yu's way of handling this matter shows his attitude. You see, Xiao Yu doesn't mind them coming to exchange items, but he does mind them deliberately trying to get close to him. He has been keeping a certain distance from them, probably to prevent them from using him to create hype. I'm afraid the 2 of them want to use this opportunity to enter the entertainment industry. Vertex. Chapter 42:26. I just feel very unhappy. Now, many viewers are saying that the two of them are shameless. There are many shameless people in this world. You just have to get used to it. If the viewers are scolding these two, what about their fans? In this era, Tangwa felt the most important thing to take note of is the control of their fans. It's good to have fans, but you can't let your fans cause trouble. Most of the fans are young and can't be provoked. As an artist, you need to be a representative figure to guide your fans well. This way, you won't cause a series of online violence. Ever since these two are basking in Xiaoyu's limelight, many viewers feel that they are annoying and taking advantage of them. Some of the more extreme viewers even scolded them for being shameless. These two have a lot of fans, and they scold each other. Most of the time, this happens when these two come over to exchange things with Xiaoyu. At other times, they're watching Xiaoyu's live broadcast seriously. After the system finished, it added another sentence. I've already restrained Xiaoyu's fans. I'm monitoring every single one of our official chat groups. They won't cause any trouble. Also, I am monitoring some of the non-official chat groups. I have created a lot of alternate accounts and have become the administrators. Those who want to cause trouble are all stopped by me. Tangwa is not stingy. Little Tongzi, you are getting better and better. The system is satisfied. Host, don't worry. You said you will let me manage all the fans of your artists. I promise I will manage them well and will not let them cause trouble. Now, our fans are called rational fans. They only talk reason and will not scold others. If there is no evidence, they will not spread rumors. They are very obedient. And there should be no problem with Xiaoyu's side. The filming on Lone Island will end in less than a month. At that time, Xiaoyu will definitely succeed. You'll have to sign a 3-year contract with Lone Island. It's not easy to arrange any work for him. Actually, Tangwa had received a lot of scripts at this time, but she is not interested in these scripts. There are male lead roles and even the second male lead roles. This shows you Jiwei's value has increased a lot. The script for the male lead role is too bad. The second male lead role script is not bad, but Lin Yiqian is not satisfied with this role. Most of these people who came to throw olive branches want to take advantage of the fact that Yu Jiwei was still hot right now. They wanted to strike while the iron was hot and consume his heat. A few days ago, after the fact that she was the daughter of a wealthy family was exposed, the number of people who came to offer her an olive branch decreased. Perhaps they were self-aware and knew that she was not interested in such things. As for endorsements, if they were good ones, he could accept them. This wouldn't affect the arrangement of the isolated islands officials. Tang will help Yu Jiwei with his endorsement. But to her surprise, Three Sheep Pig Company also wanted Yu Jiwei to speak for them. She remembered that the spokesperson for Three Sheep Pig Company was not Qidong, but Qidong had indeed been the spokesperson a long time ago. Since he was Big Sister Yang's man, it wouldn't be a problem for him to continue renewing the contract. Qidong is now endorsing some high-end brands. He feels that a company like a pig farm is a little beneath his status. Tangwa was a little speechless. This is the #1 pig farm in the country. Not only do they raise pigs, but they also produce all kinds of meat products. There are all kinds of low-end, mid-end, and high-end products. I heard that there are some high-end meats that you have to book a few months in advance. Why would you think it's cheap? Don't you know what you're worth? Vertex. Chapter 42:27. Anyway, that's what happened according to the information I found. Sister Yang originally wanted to give this endorsement to Qidong, but in the end, he used it as a favor and promoted many people in the industry. Now, those people are grateful to him. He used a lot of the resources that Sister Yang gave him to do favors. This is another reason why he is so popular. Why is Three Sheep Pig Company interested in hiring Xiaoyu as their spokesperson? Tangwa looked at the information in her hands. Why didn't they do it as a favor for Qidong? Didn't you say that no one is stupid? Sister Yang might have known that Qidong despised the pig farming company. What is his background? Even if she likes young and handsome men, she is still a boss. She started from scratch and has seen everything. She just didn't point it out. I guess that she likes Xiaoyu's image. Most likely, it was because he lived comfortably on the isolated island and even raised chicks. In addition, he was very down-to-earth in everything he did. Madam Host, I think this endorsement is very suitable for Xiaoyu. It doesn't feel strange at all. Look at him now. He knows how to do everything. Raising chickens, building houses, making controlled animals, weaving baskets. This is what makes him stand out. People are interested in him. Not bad. Xiao Tongzi has become better. You're flattering me. I learned from you. That's why I am so knowledgeable. Tangua, you're also good at flattering people. System, sob. That since 3 Sheep Pig Company had already thrown out an olive branch, Tang would decided to accept it. Perhaps Qi Dong felt that this kind of endorsement would lower his status. Speaking of which, it was true. After all, Qi Dong was now an award-winning actor and an artist who only endorsed high-end brands. But Yu Jiwei is different. He is more down-to-earth. Accepting this endorsement will not make him feel out of place at all. On the same day, Tangwa contacted the person in charge of 3 Sheep Pig Company to discuss the contract. Both parties agreed to meet the next day. Based on Yu Jiwei's current situation on the island, he will have no problem living until the end. So, 3 Sheep Pig Company offered a high price. There's also no problem with the contract. It will last for 3 years. It could be seen that this company saw the value of Yu Jiwei. Both parties were satisfied with the contract and were just waiting for Yu Jiwei to come out. As expected, the streamer and blogger did not show any signs of quitting. Tangwood did not bother with them and asked the system to monitor their movements. Her gaze fell on Jiang Qiqi. After contacting her, she knew that Jiang Qiqi was also about to finish filming. In the production team of I Only Want to Rule the World, Zhuo Xiang and Yin Zhuyan had about the same number of scenes. Tangwood decided to let Zhuo Xiang read the script first. Zhuo Xiang was still young. For the time being, she did not want her to participate in any variety shows. Excessive exposure would not do Zhuo Xiang any good. When the time came for her to act, it would be easy for the audience to fall out of character. Participating in variety shows once or twice was enough. Too much exposure was not good. As for Yin Zhuyan, she asked the system to help pay attention to the casting of those directors. Once there was a role that suited Yin Zhuyan, she would let the other party go for an audition. Because at her age, she couldn't play the female lead of a contemporary TV series. If there were some good scripts, she would still fight for the role of an older female lead. 1 month later, Tangwa brought Zhuo Xiang to an audition. She successfully obtained the second female lead of a certain script. This role was more outstanding. Zhuo Xiang's performance satisfied the director. It was a Xinxia drama. For this, Tangwa discussed with the crew. She could provide some props and all of Zhuo Xiang's costumes. The peak. Chapter 42-28. She had a lot of clothes for immortals. Not long after, Yin Zhuyan also successfully got a role. It was a modern fantasy drama with a bit of magic. Tangwa brought Yin Zhuyan to the set and discussed with the crew. She could provide props, especially the costumes Yin Zhuyan would wear. She could also provide what the other actors needed. It was a kind of investment and also a way to raise Yin Zhuyan's status. She had Western magic costumes. She asked Margaret to get some for her. Margaret was overjoyed. The school bell finally had a use for her. Did this mean that the school bell was coming to see her soon? Empress Dowager Chen looked at these and felt a little itchy. If she could move, she could also provide the school bell with all kinds of palace items. The modern fantasy drama, which the director wasn't sure about, was improved by a level because of Tangwa's props. Especially the costumes, props, weapons, and decorations provided by Tangwa. It was as if they had really stepped into the Western magic world. They only needed to use the rest of the money to decorate the set. Then, Tangwa sold some blueprints to them. She asked Margaret for them. These blueprints were about the buildings of the Western magic world. She even gave them the system. In Zhuyan, she finally knew why her agent was so rich. Look, her business acumen and knowledge are things that many people can't catch up to in a few lifetimes. System wrong. Hundreds of lifetimes can't catch up. Jiang Qiqi had finished filming and was going to promote. When the poster was released, many people were surprised by Jiang Qiqi's image. They felt that Jiang Qiqi's role as the female villain was really good. At the same time, Helei's drama was announced. Because Li Chengfu was very good and didn't lack money, Hao Ye's filming was a little slow. It would probably take another 2 months. As soon as Yu Jiwei came out, Tanguo packed him up and sent him to Three Sheep Company. When he came back to his senses, he realized that his agent had given him such a big endorsement. Who didn't know this company? The pork was delicious and the quality was good. Xiao Huahua, the hen, was also famous. Yu Jiwei decided that he wanted to raise Xiao Huahua alone. He even asked Tanguo to help hire someone to take care of Xiao Huahua. On this day, Tanguo received a call from Yu Jiwei. What's wrong? Sister Tang, the person in charge of Three Sheep Company, said that they have a chicken farm and hope to invite Xiao Huahua to be their spokesperson. Tanguo, to be honest, Xiao Huahua was much more famous than Yu Jiwei on the internet. Many people thought that Yu Jiwei's name was hard to remember, but they could remember that he was the celebrity who raised Xiao Huahua. Yu Jiwei was left speechless too. Tanguo, what do you mean? If you want Xiao Huahua to appear on screen, you can arrange it yourself. Xiao Huahua is yours now, but make sure to take good care of him. Tanguo, yes. Xiao Huahua's value is different now. The next day, Xiao Huahua was also sent to Yu Jiwei's side. Both the man and the chicken were on the same page. When the news was released, the entire internet couldn't help laughing. Chapter 42-29. In reality, the Three Sheep Company's foresight was as good as ever. With Xiao Huahua's help, their new chicken farm quickly became known throughout the country. Everyone in the country recognized the chicken called Xiao Huahua. It was said that it laid 2 eggs a day. When Yu Jiwei came back from filming the endorsement, everyone couldn't help but tease him, saying that Xiao Huahua was more famous than him. Someone even called to invite Yu Jiwei to take Xiao Huahua to a competition, but he rejected it. Filming an advertisement was nothing. The competition was fine, but he didn't want Xiao Huahua to be tired out and receive bad treatment. He didn't expect Xiao Huahua to earn money. He could earn money himself, so it was no problem for him to support Xiao Huahua. There were also some variety shows that invited Yu Jiwei to participate, but he rejected them. Compared to participating in variety shows, he still preferred acting. Moreover, actors were overly exposed and formed a variety show style. No matter what role they played in the future, it would make them feel out of character. For the sake of the long term, he should participate less in those shows. Next, it was time for Tanguo and the production team to discuss the contract. It was close to 5 million yuan, so the production team readily transferred the money to Xingchen Company. After deducting all the taxes and splitting the profits, Yu Jiwei received a share. He was quite satisfied with this. In fact, he had been living quite comfortably on the isolated island during this period of time. There was no noise of the city, no cell phone, and no electronic products. Every day, he made all kinds of gadgets and played with Xiao Huahua. It had been a long time since he had experienced such peace. After the money was transferred, it was time for the two parties to discuss the contract. After winning the challenge, Yu Jiwei had to sign a 3-year contract with the production team. This contract would include some resources that would definitely be given to him. If he performed well in the 3 years, the production team would use more resources for him. Hao Yu was worried about controlling the contract. Although his manager was very capable, he felt that some companies like to set up traps, so he took advantage of his free time to follow them. Actually, this contract could be rejected before it was signed. In other words, he could only take 5 million yuan and not have the company be responsible for the resources for the next 3 years. After Tanguo and Hao Yi read the contract, they picked out some ambiguous sentences and hoped that the production team could change them. It was a contract. It was only called a contract when both parties were satisfied. Even without the contract with the Island Program Group, Tanguo could still make Yuji popular. Now, they had a lot of capital to talk about this. The production crew also seemed to know that Yu Jiwei was not an artist they could easily bully. On the contract, some changes were made. Tanguo felt that the only thing that needed to be changed was that the producers could not give Yu Jiwei all the shoddy productions. As for whether Yu Jiwei would accept them or not, he had the right to reject them. As a result, the contract became that the production team would provide resources to Yu Jiwei to achieve a win-win situation, and Yu Jiwei would not have to listen to the company's arrangements. To put it bluntly, the company would provide resources to Yu Jiwei, and they would share the profits together. This contract gave him more freedom. Although Yu Jiwei was popular and he had Tang Guo as his agent, some resources could not be obtained easily. They still needed a middleman to pull the strings. Obviously, Tang Guo was using the producers as a go-between. During this period, Tang Guo could also arrange other things for Yu Jiwei when she was free. There was no conflict. Yu Jiwei did not expect that he would be able to fight for such great power. Sure enough, it was important to have a good agent. After signing the contract, Yu Jiwei received a lot of endorsements. The system helped him choose all the endorsements. Apparently, Yu Jiwei was going to be the male lead of a film. After knowing the general plot, Tang Guo felt that he could accept it. Meanwhile, Yu Jiwei also became busy. By the time He Lei's drama aired, Haye's drama had also finished filming. Cheng Xian was also very nervous. She was waiting for this drama to become popular. Then, she could use this outstanding role to get an even better role. Tang Guo finally had some free time. Every day, she would help the artists under her to see if there were any good scripts. She did all this work. Most of it was done by the system. She would do the final screening. A week after He Lei's drama aired, the internet was filled with discussions about Fan, Shi, and Miyashue. So, the drama was considered to have exploded. Of course, the most explosive part was yet to come. Fans would feel sorry for Fan Shi and scold Miyashue. By the time the drama ended, they would feel sorry for Miyashue. Why didn't the two of them end up together? Because of this drama, both He Lei and Cheng Xian praised their acting skills. They perfectly portrayed their roles and crushed the male and female leads. Cheng Xian was in some trouble. The female lead hated her. Recently, the female lead had been releasing scandals about her. As a result, her reputation started to go downhill. Why don't we create some hype? We could tie up He Lei and the female lead and create some blurry pictures. For example, the two of them can act together in the middle of the night. We can divert attention and let the fans scold them, Cheng Xian's agent suggested. Cheng Xian thought about it and agreed. The peak that you're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.